Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of our story. If you like this WhatIf story and want to see part 3, let me know in the comments below. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, check the description for more great content and my playlist. This story was posted by the Ray series 125 on Wattpad. Now let's start. At Class 1A it was a new day for Class 1A, and we saw Midoriya, who had just walked in and was heading towards his seat, and 𝐻𝐿𝐼 and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 stopped him. 𝐻𝐿𝐼/𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, hey Midori. Midoriya, oh hey, 𝐻𝐿𝐼 and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, what's up? He said to them as they started to pout. 𝐻𝐿𝐼 pouted, what's up is that you didn't reply to my texts. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 pouted and you didn't answer my calls. Midoriya, what are you talking about? I didn't get any of your. He checks his phone and sees many missed calls and unreplied messages. Oh, now I did, he says, then gets a little scared. Before they can do anything, 𝐬𝐬𝐴RICA saves him by walking towards them. 𝐬𝐬𝐴RICA, oh, come on girls. We know that Deku wouldn't do it on purpose, right? Midoriya, she's right. I'm sorry I didn't reply, I was busy with something, he quickly said to them. 𝐻𝐿𝐼, oh, I can't stay mad at you, Midori, she said, smiling. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, yeah, same here, she said, smiling. Anyway Midori, what did you have to do? She asked as she exited her desk. Before Midoriya could say anything, Yaoyorozu and Jiro spoke up while walking towards them. Yaoyorozu, he's probably doing homework. Jiro, or maybe it was something personal. Midoriya, wait, did we even get homework? He thought as his index finger was on his chin. 𝐬𝐬𝐴RICA, anyway, what do you think we're doing today, Deku? Midoriya, I don't know. Maybe we'll. He spoke when everyone heard the door open, causing them to rush to their desks. Then Mr. Aizawa walked into the classroom, quieting them all. Aizawa, great. I'm pleased with your progress. Now, let's move on to our announcement. As you know, we will be visiting the 𝐶𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 this Friday. All Might and 2 other teachers will accompany me. During our time there, you will be able to learn the essential skills of apprehending villains and handling disaster rescues. Cammy, wait, we're doing rescue drills in any vibes? She said as Mr. Aizawa was confused by what she just said. Midoriya, yeah, we'll be doing that, Cammy, he answered, impressing Aizawa so that he could understand her. Then he went back to the topic. Aizawa, now, on another note, the other dual course class, Class 1B, will accompany us there. Therefore, Midoriya, as the class representative, I need you to go over and greet them to build a better relationship. Midoriya, yes, sir. Aizawa, Yaoyorozu, please also go with him since you're the vice president. Yaoyorozu, yes, sir. 𝐿𝐷, hand chop, sir, is it all right if the rest of us go with them? Aizawa, no, we are trying to maintain a good relationship with them, but some of you might ruin it. I'm looking at you, Bakugo and Minato. Bakugo/Minato, hey. Soon, Midoriya left with Yaoyorozu to visit Class 1B. Minato, 𝐻𝐿𝐼. Kaminari, what's wrong with you? Minato, crying, this isn't fair. How come he gets to go? Not only does he get some alone time with one of the hottest girls in the class, but he also gets to see the different girls they have in the other class. Kaminari, sweat drop, that's what you're mad about. Minato, we've only been in school for a month, and he has already attracted most of the girls in our class. Zero, come on man. Do you see Midoriya as that type of guy? Tsuyu, Yaoyorozu is appealing and truly exudes a wealthy vibe. I'd be surprised if he didn't feel nervous. Ribbit, Tokoyami, still with him, at least we know he will make a good impression. Tsuyu, true, if it had been Minato, he would have creeped the girls out. Minato, no, I wouldn't have fallen for him, they would have been attracted to me in no time. But instead of me, he's the one going for it. Doesn't he realize that nerdy guys like him are only liked because they don't attract girls? I bet he's flirting with Yamamoto right now. He said proudly, making everyone sweat drop. Meanwhile, with Midoriya and Yaoyorozu were walking to Class 1B. Midoriya felt nervous about meeting a new class with new students, so just before his hand started to shake, 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼 called out to him. 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼, Midoriya. Midoriya, hiya. He said, turning to her. 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼, what is your plan for our arrival in the other class? We must ensure we make a good first impression. Midoriya, oh, I don't have a clear plan for being class president. This is my first time in this role, and I've struggled to connect with new classes in the past, he said to her, looking down while his hand was on his neck. 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼, it's perfectly fine. We have to make the most of it and avoid antagonizing them. Midoriya, right on that part. And thanks for that, it's making me feel a little better. He smiled at her. 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼, you're welcome, Midoriya, he said, smiling at him. Soon enough, they reached a massive door marked 1B, unlike their class 1. Midoriya, alright, let's do this. He said this, walking towards the door and opening it. When he opened the door, they were in for a surprise. What they encountered was the class binding a male student with a sack over his head, who seemed to be unconscious. Midoriya and 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼 stood wide-eyed and surprised at the scene. They were at a loss for words. The class stopped what they were doing, staring at them in silence. Then, Midoriya broke the silence. Midoriya cleared his throat. Excuse me, we're the representatives from class 1A. Oh, great. You're here, she said, smiling at them as she walked toward them. The female student who approached them had long orange hair in a high ponytail on the left side of her head. Stops in front of them. My name is 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐴 Kendo, and I am the class representative. It's nice to meet you. Pointed to the guy on her right, and this next to me is our vice representative, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. She smiled at them and pointed to the person next to her. 𝐶𝐲, it's very nice to meet you too, he said, bowing to them. The student next to Kendo was a chubby young man of average height with short, ice blue hair and a round face. Then Kendo extended her hand for a handshake, but aimed it at the wrong person. 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼, haha, oh, I'm not the class representative, points at Midoriya. He is. She said as Midoriya waved at Kendo. Kendo, oh, sorry about that. I just thought that she was. She said as her hand rubbed her neck. 𝐶𝐲, please forgive us. He said nervously, bowing down quickly. Midoriya, heh, oh no, it's okay, I would have thought the same, honestly. Kendo, so, you are the representative of your class A, and she is the vice representative, correct? Midoriya, that's right, she's Momo 𝐻𝐼𝐼𝐼, and he introduced them when something pushed him into the classroom pretty hard, surprising the greenish one. Whoa! This caused him to pull Kendo down, and they both fell to the ground with Midoriya landing on top of her. He then got back up and extended his hand to Kendo. Midoriya, hand out. Are you okay? Kendo takes his hand. Yeah, I'm fine. What happened? She asked as Midoriya helped her get back on her feet. Midoriya, I don't know. It felt like someone pushed me, he said, turning back to see what it was. Before he could look any further, a familiar voice called out to him. It's you, they said as Midoriya turned toward them and recognized them. Midoriya, Pony, he said, shocked to see her here. She ran towards him and hugged him. Pony, I can't believe it's you again, she happily said, hopping up and down. Midoriya, honestly, I'm shocked to see you sooner than I thought. Pony turns to her classmates as she breaks the hug to point at him. This is him. This guy helped me get Komori to Recovery Girl's office from the cafeteria incident. The students in the classroom were surprised to see that student Pony was talking about who had helped their classmate. Kendo walked up to Midoriya and placed a hand on his shoulder. Kendo, smile. So you're the one who helped Komori out when she got hurt. Pony told us all about you, and I wanted to say, as class representative of 1B, thank you for helping her. Midoriya, oh, it was nothing. I just did what anyone would do. But no one did. Midoriya heard someone calling out to him as they approached. He turned and was shocked to see who it was. The person approached shyly and stopped right in front of him. You did. Midoriya, it's you. You're that girl from high school. Why, it's great to see you again. Midoriya, she said as she recalled him, though she didn't know his name. Midoriya, You remember my name. 𝐻𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, she said as Midoriya saw one of her eyes, that her eyes were wide and cat-like, tilted inwards with rather long lower eyelashes, and that her irises were warm brown. Kinoko's pupils are little black crosses, both highly resembling the caps of cross-sliced mushrooms. Kendo, wait, do you two know each other? She asked, surprised by what appeared. Midoriya, yeah. We went to the same high school together. He answered Kendo, and Komori nodded in response. Shoda, what are the odds of people who knew each other running into each other here? He said to Yaoyorozu, who nodded in agreement. Yaoyorozu, anyway, so, what's going on here? She pointed to the unconscious student who was tied up as everyone else looked on. Kendo, sweat drop. Oh, he doesn't seem to like your class for some reason. We don't know why, so we decided to keep him quiet, she stated with her hand on her neck. Midoriya, I get it, he said, understanding her because a certain angry Pomeranian was in his class and thought, I guess every class has its own Bakugo. Geez. As if one was bad enough. Whoa, no one told me that Class 1A had a cutie like him hanging around. Midoriya turned around to identify the source of a comment he had heard. Standing there was a young girl of average height with surprisingly large, upturned, dusky green eyes, long lower eyelashes, and notably long, pointed teeth. Her hair was a dark moss green, falling just below her shoulders, except for a short clump that hung down in the center of her forehead. The hair became wavier and thinner toward the ends, similar in color to Midoriya's but resembling Tsu's. Hey there, I'm 𝐶𝐮𝐬 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, it's nice to meet you. She introduced herself, walking towards Midoriya, who was caught off guard by her comment from earlier. As she stopped in front of him, she asked another question. But I don't like being called Tokic, so call me 𝐶𝐮𝐬, and you are. Midoriya, oh shoot. Sorry, how rude of me not to introduce myself. I'm Izuku Midoriya. He introduced himself and held his hand out for 𝐶𝐮𝐬. This revelation shocked the entire room. Students began to whisper among themselves, questioning whether he was truly Midoriya or lying to them. Some students were skeptical and felt he was not what they had expected, especially a young girl of average height. She had fair skin, brown eyes, and dark burgundy hair, mostly chin-length, with elbow-length bangs framing her face. To help restrain her powers, she used a device similar to a hair curler on top of her head while strands of hair hung down on either side. Kendo was about to say something to Midoriya, but 𝐶𝐮𝐬 beat her. 𝐶𝐮𝐬, grin so you're the guy everyone is talking about. You are not what I expected, but you look cute, so I'm fine with that. But I gotta say, that power you have is impressive, she seductively said that last part close to him. Midoriya, WL. Thank you. Kendo, grab the back of her collar, knock it off. 𝐶𝐮𝐬, pulls her back a bit anyway. Come on, now that you met some of my classmates I'll introduce you to the rest of them, Midoriya. She said as Midoriya was about to meet the rest of Class 1B. But stopped Kendo. Midoriya, wait Kendo. Kendo, what is it Midoriya? Midoriya, I was wondering, he said as his arms went behind him. All of Class B was worried that something was going to happen, but instead, he pulled out his notebook. If I can write down all of your quirks, he said. The whole class was shocked that Midoriya asked this, but the number one question they all thought was, where did he pull his notebook from, and where was he keeping it? Kendo, okay, she said, confused, which made Midoriya realize something. Midoriya cleared his throat. Sorry, it's been a hobby of mine. I always get excited whenever I see someone else's quirk. Kendo, oh well. She was saying before 𝐶𝐮𝐬 interrupted. 𝐶𝐮𝐬, sure, Midoriya, I'll gladly tell you my quirk. If you want, I'll tell you anything else you want to know. She said flirtily as Kendo was about to stop her, but she was wrapped in a vine, shocking Midoriya. Then another voice came in. 𝐶𝐮𝐬, you shall not taint a classmate from another class with your unholy sins. A female student said. Midoriya turned to the said student. It was a girl of medium height with green, thorn-covered vines for hair, one set wrapped around her forehead a couple of times in the shape of a cross. She approached them to 𝐶𝐮𝐬, who was trying to break free, but only her head came off, floating in the air, surprising Midoriya. Setsuna, hey, would you let go of me, Shiozaki? Geez, you are always a killjoy. She said as her head floated towards the female student named Shiozaki. Shiozaki, still, you shall not act in such sinful behavior. She said sternly. Setsuna, oh, I'm just messing with him. Right, Midoriya? She said, turning to Midoriya, then continuing flirtatiously, unless you want it to. She was cut off as Shiozaki made her vines tighter until Kendo cut in. Kendo, okay, enough. Setsuna, knock it off, and Shiozaki let her go. She said as they did what she said. She turned to Midoriya and Yoruzu, who watched the scene, and said, I'm sorry about her. She tends to be like this to some people. Midoriya, it's okay, we're used to stuff like this. Kendo, wait really? Yoruzu, believe it or not, we have some students who act like this. Especially towards Midoriya. Kendo, okay then. Now come on, Midoriya, let me introduce you to our classmates. She smiled as she introduced Midoriya to her classmates. Yo, the name is Yosetsu Aways, and my quirk is weld. I can fuse any two objects I touch at the atomic level, even living things. Hello, I'm 𝐶𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. My quirk is gyrate. My body parts can spin at high speed, resembling drills. The spinning can deflect incoming attacks and wear down even the sturdiest armor. The name's Toguru Kamakiri, and my quirk is razor sharp. I make incredibly sharp blades from my body, which I can alter in shape at will, making them quite versatile. Hey there, I'm 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. My quirk is called black, and I can meld with any shadow or black object, moving quickly within that connected block of darkness for quick attacks and retreats. Like earlier, I'm Itsuka Kendo. My quirk is Big Fist, which is pretty self-explanatory. My hands can be large enough to envelop a person, and my powered-up fists can crumple metal shields. I'm Yui Kodai. My quirk is size. I can change the size of any non-living thing, enabling me to create giant walls from tiny objects. As I said earlier, I am Keikinoko Komori, and my Q quirk is C called 𝐴-mushroom. I can spread various 𝐴-mushroom spores that propagate in humid environments. It's lovely to meet you, Midoriya. My name is Ibara Shiozaki. My gift from our Lord is called vines. My vine-like hair can stretch at will. I can sever parts to serve as shields and use clumps to immobilize enemies. Greetings, Midoriya. My name is Juroda Shishida, and I attended semi-private academy. My quirk is Beast. In my Beast mode, I become bigger and stronger, drastically enhancing my vision, hearing, and sense of smell. I also become very energetic. I'm 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐸𝐺𝐾 Shota again. My quirk is Twin Impact. After I perform a physical strike, I can activate another strike at the same spot later. The second hit delivers a much more powerful punch. Author, reminder this means Pony is speaking English. As. Why you know? Already. Gets frustrated grr. As you know, I'm Pony Tsunatori. My quirk is Horn Cannon. I can release and manipulate up to 4 horns at once. 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐻𝐼𝐸𝐺𝐾 is my name, and that's all you're getting. Sup, I'm 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, and I hope you're a good competitor, the #1 ranked guy. My quirk is solid air. The air I exhale can turn into rigid, invisible walls that create midair platforms or boxes, although a strong impact will shatter the solid air. I'm Tetsu. Nice to meet you, Midoriya. My quirk is not fancy, but it's called steel. I can turn my body into metal. The more iron I consume, the more challenging I become, and the longer the effect lasts. Do you mind if I call you Midori bro? Hey, cutie, as I said earlier, I'm Setsuna Tokichi. I got in through recommendations like Yaoyorozu. Don't forget to call me Setsuna. My quirk is Lizard Tail Splitter. I can split my body into floating, controllable pieces. When they disappear, I can regenerate from the largest remaining part, which includes my head. Hi there, my name is Manga Fukudashi. My quirk is comic. The onomatopoeias I speak become physical manifestations. The nature of these attacks can vary widely based on their inspiration. Hey Midoriya. I'm 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 Hananuki. I got through the recommendations like 𝐶𝗔𝐚 did, but I can't wait to see what you can do. My quirk is softening. A single touch softens an object, and a second touch reverts it. This ability can create a faux swamp, hindering enemy movement. I hope we can be great friends, Midoriya. I'm Kojiro Bando, and my quirk is called 𝐶𝗔𝐚𝐽. The glue emits from the 7 holes in my face. I can control the drying speed of the glue depending on the objective. I'm Reiko Yanagi, my quirk is poltergeist. I can manipulate objects weighing no more than a person and handle multiple objects as long as their total weight stays under that limit. You're spooky, Midoriya. It's nice to meet you, Midoriya. I'm Hiryu Rin. My quirk is scales. I can grow tough scales all over my body, providing a coat of armor, or fire them as projectiles. After Midoriya met all the students in Class B and learned their quirks, he wrote them down in his notebook. Each student was unique, yet there were some similarities among them, much like in their class. Midoriya and Yaoyorozu were enjoying their time with Class B, and the students appreciated their company until the moment was disrupted by a laugh. Ha ha ha. Class 1B, oh no. Midoriya was shocked and he recognized that laugh from anywhere. Slowly turning to see someone, he hoped not to see them. Midoriya, I swear to God that better not be who I think it is. He thought as he saw the face of the owner of the voice. So I see you've made it to the hero course. It's so nice to see you again, Midoriya. Midoriya, God effin' damn it. He thought screaming that life wasn't going his way. He then got irritated and looked at him. Likewise. Nito Monoma. This surprised the class because these two knew each other, but not for good reasons. Kendo, wait, Midoriya. Do you two know each other? Midoriya, sigh yes. Unfortunately, we also went to the same high school. He said, irritated by the memories from Monoma. Monoma, so you are in Class 1A. This is perfect. With us as rivals, we'll see who the superior beings are, us. Midoriya, oh my God. For the last time, Monoma, I don't care who's better. Monoma, oh, you think you're better, huh? Midoriya, what the F okay, when did I ever say that? Yaoyorozu, so, who is he and why is he like this? She asked Midoriya. Before he could answer, Monoma intervened. Monoma, shocked what? How can you not know me? As you already heard, I'm Nito Monoma, the strongest and most talented student in Class 1B. Always, sweat drop giving yourself much credit there. Komori, to you how did he even get loose shroom? Kodai, shrugs, Shishida. Monoma, what did we say about causing problems? We are trying to make a good impression. Midoriya/Yaoyorozu, he kind of reminds me of Ida, they thought. Monoma, smirk what? I'm not causing anything. Doesn't it irritate you that they have 2 famous students? Manga, sigh not this again. Monoma, what? Not every day you get to see the student everyone talks about and the heiress to the Yaoyorozu Corporation. But even with them, we still exceed them by a lark. Before he could finish, Kendo knocked him out by chopping his neck. Kendo, I'm sorry about him. She apologizes with her hand on her head. Midoriya, sigh honestly likewise. He said, feeling their pain. Yaoyorozu, cleared her throat anyway. Midoriya, we should start heading back now. Setsuna, tearing up but I finally met another greenet, can't we keep him? Kendo, no, Setsuna. We can't. Setsuna, come on please, hey, we can trade Monoma. Midoriya, as much as I wish to avoid him, I can't. Class A is already dealing with one annoying blonde, and I don't want them to have to handle another one. He said to them, Kendo, seriously, you also have to deal with someone like Monoma. Yaoyorozu, yes, but he seems worse than Monoma. The students of Class 1B talked among themselves that their class wasn't the only one dealing with an egotistic student, and he was another blonde guy. They believed that this was something that both classes could agree on. Midoriya, it would not only make our class go insane, but our homeroom teacher would want to quit teaching us or transfer them to another class just to not deal with them. Kendo, wow, is that bad? Midoriya and Yaoyorozu nodded their head. After a while, they said their goodbyes to Class B, and Kendo stopped them as they left. Kendo, Midoriya. She called him as he turned to face her. Midoriya, yeah, Kendo. Kendo, I hope to see you again, she said as she tried to tell him something, but couldn't. But what she didn't know was that something might be forming. Midoriya, smile, same here. I look forward to working with you guys, he said. Yaoyorozu nodded in response, and they left the classroom. Inside the classroom, Setsuna grinned. Well. I see our class representative is interested in Midoriya. Kendo turned to her. What are you talking about? Monoma, what? This is unacceptable. She can't fall for a Class A sum? Especially that one. He says as he gets punched in the face by Kendo. Kendo, annoyed and irritated, shut up. As this happened, 𝐻𝐿𝐮𝐬 stared at the door where Midoriya and Yaoyorozu had left. Then she'd stared down at her desk, thinking about something. 𝐻𝐿𝐮𝐬, Izuku Midoriya. He doesn't look much. But I shouldn't underestimate him if he's that strong. He'll be another obstacle to take down to prove them wrong, she thought, wanting to prove something to someone. Back with Midoriya and Yaoyorozu as the two students walked back to their classroom, Midoriya had a smile that Yaoyorozu noticed. Yaoyorozu, hey Midoriya, you look like you're in a good mood. Midoriya, oh really? Huh, I didn't realize it, he said to her as he went into thought. Then he looked back at Yaoyorozu. I'm just happy that the meeting with Class B went well. Yaoyorozu smiled. I agree. I think both classes have some similarities. Midoriya, I can agree with that, he said to her. He then remembered the two people that he was hoping not to see. But there are two things that I was hoping I wouldn't see here. Yaoyorozu, let me guess. Is it possibly Bakugo and that one student named Monoma? Midoriya, yup, as if I already have to deal with one of them, but now I have to deal with Monoma as well. Yaoyorozu, it'll be fine, Midoriya. We have to get used to it. Midoriya, I hope so. Imagine if we did trade me with Monoma. I can imagine what the classroom would be like every day, he jokingly said to Yaoyorozu as he started to mimic Bakugo. All right, you extras, I will become the next #1 hero. He could make a perfect impression of Bakugo, which made Yaoyorozu laugh with her hand covering her mouth. Then he started to mimic Monoma. I will show these classes scums who's the superior one. He perfectly mimicked, causing her to laugh harder. Midoriya, I imagine Mr. Aizawa does not want to deal with them. I bet he'll either quit on the spot, transfer them to another class for that being their problem, or expel them. Yaoyorozu, I can see that, she said, calming down from laughing hard. Afterward, they entered the classroom and went through the day as usual. Time skipped to the orphanage. When Midoriya returned, he cleaned the place with Anya's help. Of course, he made her do the small things. Midoriya, hey, Anya, can you pick up those in the trash please? Anya, okay, she said as she went to pick up the trash from the toxic couple. Speaking of them, they're acting strange lately. Like every time Midoriya talks to the girls or the guys on the phone, they seem to listen to the conversations, especially about you. Events. After a while, they finished with Midoriya sweating a bit. As he sat down, Anya approached him and sat next to him. Anya, if you are tired, you should give me more things to do. She pouted a bit. Midoriya was working too hard for every child in the orphanage. Midoriya, tired? It's okay, Anya. Plus, I don't want to overwork you guys. You all are still young. Anya, well, yeah, but what about you? She worried about him. Midoriya, smile. It's fine, Anya. It makes me happy to help you guys. This made Anya smile, and then she started to tear up and approached to hug him hard. Midoriya was surprised by this and then returned the gesture. An idea came to Midoriya's head. Midoriya, hey Anya, would you like to watch your favorite cartoon and then play spies? He asked the tearful child, who swiftly transformed her expression to one of joy. Anya, yes. Later that day, Midoriya and Anya enjoyed watching Anya's favorite cartoon, Spy Wars. Afterward, she took her stuffed chimera and penguin to play a game called Spies. Midoriya reflected that the day had been rather enjoyable so far. Friday today was the day. It was Friday and it was time to head to the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐴. Everyone in the class eagerly awaited Mr. Izawa and the training at the 𝐬𝐮𝐦𝐽. Midoriya felt anxious because not only was his class going, but Class B would be joining them as well. When Midoriya heard Mr. Izawa approaching, he warned the class. As soon as Mr. Izawa walked in, everyone fell silent. Izawa, okay, problem, children. Today is Friday. That means we're going to the 𝐬𝐮𝐽 today. We have 4 teachers with you, me, 2 guest teachers, and the homeroom teacher for Class B. Oh, and yes, the class will also join us. Izawa's announcement made the class wonder who the 2 teachers would be, and that we would have another class joining them. Midoriya, I realized Yaoyorozu, and I had never met Class B's homeroom teacher. I guess it's a special case. 𝐬𝐮𝐱, so what kind of training is this going to be? He asked with a hand raised. Izawa took out a card with the word rescue on it. Izawa, rescue. You'll be dealing with natural disasters, shipwrecks, etc. Kaminari, disasters. We're getting ready for a big workout. Kaminari said while the other students were excited. Ishido, absolutely. Kirishima, this is the stuff of a true hero. I even tremble with excitement. Tsu, anyway, I can show you how useful I am in the water. Izawa, I'm not finished yet. You can decide whether to wear your costumes this time, he said, then pressed a button on the remote, making the suitcases containing the students' hero costumes appear on the walls. Remember that you haven't gotten used to them yet, and they might limit your abilities. This training will be held at an off-campus facility. So, we're going to take a bus to get there. That's all. Everyone, get ready. With that, the students rose from their seats and began preparing for rescue training. Midoriya, rescue training. I've always admired this training. He thought about it when he remembered All Might's debut video. Remembering that video, Midoriya clenched his right fist. I'm getting closer and closer to being the greatest hero. I'll do my best. Later outside. The class was outside waiting for the bus and for Class B to arrive. Midoriya was in his hero suit, with some patches fixed, including his mask, respirator, and a bit of tape. As they were waiting, the girls came up to Midoriya. Uraraka, hey Deku. She waved at him. Ishido, hey Midori, are you excited? Hagakure, I'm so pumped out. She had her fists in the air. Jiro, am I the only one who's nervous here? And, you're not the only one, Jiro. Cammy, chill, you're good. I know you guys will slay it. She winked at them, confusing all the girls with what she said. Midoriya, she's right, you know. I bet you'll do just fine. He took off his mask. Yaoyorozu, I agree, but your costume is still a bit damaged, especially your mask, she said worriedly. Midoriya, yeah, it's still damaged, but it wasn't too bad. I was able to fix it, so it's still usable, he smiled. Before the girls could say anything more, they heard a maniacal laugh, and Midoriya knew it. Midoriya, sigh, there's only one person I know who has that stupid laugh, he was irritated. Everyone in Class A turned around and saw that Class B had arrived, with Monoma doing JoJo's pose in the front. Monoma, greetings, you Class A scums. The superior class has finally arrived. He said proudly while everyone else in Class B was either annoyed by this or ignored it. Class were talking amongst each other, wondering what happened in a low tone. Kirishima, so, what was that all about? Kaminari, I have no idea. 𝐬𝐮𝐽, that was something. Ida, how vulgar of you. He shouted as he chopped his arm. Ishido, who's he calling? She said ticked. Jiro, I know, right? Cammy, that's a major flop, fam. Bakugo saw him and was as irritated as Midoriya. They had only agreed that Monoma was annoying. Monoma notices Bakugo well, if it isn't the great and powerful Katsuki Bakugo. Bakugo didn't say anything, but he rolled his eyes in annoyance. Bakugo, great, not only do I have Deku, but I got this 𝐵𝐵 as well. Monoma, what's the matter, Bakugo? Are you ignoring me because you think you're so great, huh? Bakugo, shut up, you DMN extra. Monoma, oh really? I think that you're the extra one here. Bakugo, what did you say? You copycat prick. While they debated, all A and B students shared the same thought. Class B students minus Bakugo and Monoma. Oh great. There are 2 of them now. Midoriya was ready to step in when he noticed Kendo delivering a neck chop that knocked Monoma out. Kendo, seriously, can you just behave for 5 minutes? That's all I want. She tickled as she held the back collar of his costume. She turned to Midoriya and the rest of his class as she smiled. Hey Midoriya, I'm sorry about him. Midoriya, it's all right, Kendo. I can relate to that, he said, and smiled as he approached her. Kendo turned to Bakugo to observe him. Kendo, I see that he's your headache, huh? She pointed at Bakugo. This irritated Bakugo. He would have said something before Midoriya quickly covered his mouth. Midoriya, yeah, and I'm also sorry about this idiot. He chuckled and pushed him away. Kendo chuckled likewise. By the way, is this your costume? She looked at Midoriya's costume. Before Midoriya could respond, he noticed Kendo's hero costume. She wore a teal knee-length 𝐒𝐿 with yellow accents and a black double-breasted corset that ended just below her BRSS. Additionally, she had black shorts on underneath the 𝐒𝐿. He was about to say that he thought her costume looked cool when he suddenly felt someone grabbing his arm. He turned to see Setsuna. Setsuna, hey Midori, long time no see. Did you miss me? I definitely missed you. She flirted while pulling his arm closer to her chest. This surprised Midoriya a bit, as did the Class A girls, including some from Class B, who were fuming with jealousy and anger. The boys in both classes envied Midoriya for attracting many girls, particularly the grape boy, the lightning blonde, and the tape guy. Including 2 students from Class 1B, Mineta, Kaminari, Siro, Always, Tsuburaba. Midoriya, you lucky BSTRD. They thought, fuming with rage and jealousy. Midoriya, hey, Setsuna. I guess it has been a while, and I miss you a bit. He smiled. It caught Setsuna off guard, causing her to blush a bit. Kendo was irritated by this and would step in before everyone heard a bus horn. The students turned to see a huge bus. Once the bus came to a stop, Mr. Aizawa and another teacher came out. It was Vlad King, the homeroom teacher for Class B. Aizawa, all right, if everyone is here, we have something to say before you board the bus. For those who don't know me, I'm Shota Aizawa, the homeroom teacher for Class A. Vlad King. And I'm Sekijiro-kan, but you can call me by my hero name, Vlad King. For those who see that there's one bus, it is because the school decided that both hero courses will participate in the same activity. Aizawa, that means whatever class does something first, the other class will join. So, to make sure you won't fall behind. Vlad King, as for today's exercise, we'll remind you when we meet our special guests. Now, class representatives, call your classmates on the bus. Aizawa, in case you are wondering, yes, this bus can carry all of us. It can hold 50 people. This bus was made for you. After Mr. Aizawa and Vlad King wrapped up, Midoriya and Kendo organized their classmates into a single file to board the bus. Once seated, Midoriya and Kendo took the front alongside their teachers. The bus then set off towards the 𝐬𝐮𝐽. During the ride, most students chatted animatedly, while a few chose to remain quiet. One student was knocked out, courtesy of a Kendo move. Midoriya was engrossed in his hero analysis for the future notebook, jotting down his classmates' quirks and potential training methods or dangers. Next, he planned to illustrate his classmates, including those from Class B, in their costumes, even depicting some who had not yet revealed theirs. Unknown to others, Midoriya had honed his drawing skills through the many sketches he created for the children at the orphanage. As Midoriya was about to start and end 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐴's pages, he didn't see that some students were calling out to him. Then, someone tapped him on the shoulder, causing a big huh, he said, snapping out of his trance as every student, including the teachers, looked at him. As he was getting embarrassed by this, he saw who tapped him and saw it was Kendo, her hand enlarged. Kendo, Midoriya. Are you okay? She worried as Midoriya composed himself. Midoriya. Yeah, I'm fine. I just got lost in my notebook. He scratched the back of his head. Anyway, what's up? Kendo. Oh, sorry if I was interrupting you. She scratched the back of her head. Midoriya, oh no, you're fine, Kendo. I tend to get worked up on my notebook. He smiled at Kendo, making the girls in class 1A jealous. Before Kendo could go any further, Setsuna, sitting across from Midoriya with Yanagi, Kodai, and Pony, cut her off, with Komori sitting close to them. Setsuna, so, Midori, what's ya writing about? She tilted her head in surprise as Ishido was shocked to hear her call Midoriya by the nickname she had given him. She became furious at this. Midoriya, oh just some info about everyone here. He looked at his notebook. Setsuna, can I have a look? Midoriya, oh. Pony, oh, can I look too, Midoriya? She happily raised her hand. Midoriya was still unsure if he wanted other people to see his journal. Before he could say anything, Kendo chimed in. Kendo, come on you two. This is Midoriya's business. He doesn't have to if he doesn't want to share his notebook. After all, it's his choice. This answer bummed out the two girls, and that's when Midoriya finally made his answer. Midoriya, thanks for that, Kendo, and I don't mind if they see it. The girls were delighted when Midoriya handed his notebook to Setsuna. Together, they flipped through its pages, and as they explored it further, they were both genuinely impressed. Setsuna, wow, Midoriya, I gotta say this is very pleasant. She looked through the pages. Pony, the drawings are outstanding, especially of me. It really looks like me. She said happily. Kendo, really, can I look through it, Midoriya? She asked. As Midoriya was about to answer, Yanagi spoke. Yanagi, can I look as well, Midoriya? She asked in a hushed tone as Kodai raised her hand, indicating she also wanted to look. Midoriya, yeah, sure, go ahead. The three girls looked through his notebook and were as impressed by it as Setsuna and Pony were. Before Kendo or Yanagi could speak, Kodai surprised them. Kodai, is that why, when we met, you asked us about our quirks and what they can do, Midoriya? She asked in a hushed tone. Midoriya, well, he said, embarrassed and shocking his classmates. Class 1B boys, so he can get embarrassed. They all thought. Kodai, you really think that my quirk can be powerful? Midoriya, honestly, yeah. Kodai, but all I can do is change the size of non-living objects. That's all. Midoriya, are you kidding me? Kodai, you can be the deadliest hero out there with proper training. You can crush a whole villain army with one massive object. I'm honestly glad you are training to be a hero because if you were a villain, you could make an object the size of a planet and crush everyone at once. He rambled on as everyone was impressed with Midoriya's analysis, with Kodai the most surprised. Cleared his throat, sorry, I tend to Aradash. Midoriya was in the middle of speaking when Kodai abruptly interrupted him by hugging him tightly. The rest of the bus passengers were taken aback as Midoriya gently embraced her from behind. They remained in this position briefly until Kodai released him and returned to her seat, smiling and surprising her classmates. Class 1B, she can smile. They all thought, with all the boys from both classes besides Bakugo and Todoroki thinking. Her smile is adorable. Kodai, thank you, Midoriya, for what you said. She smiled. Midoriya, why yeah, no problem, Kodai. He stuttered a bit before Kodai could say anything further. The rest of Class A and B asked Midoriya if they could see his notebook, to which he agreed. While everyone admired his notebook and complimented him, Tsu, sitting beside him, beckoned him. As this happened, and 𝐻𝐻𝐿 stared at Midoriya. And stared at Midoriya, who admired her quirks even though they didn't seem like much. He found a way to make them sound cool. So she started thinking about telling him about her quirk, but she got nervous because he felt it was villainous. 𝐻𝐻𝐿 stared at him suspiciously because everyone trusted him. Even though she didn't think Midoriya was terrible, she still had trust issues because, in the past, she had met some trusted people, but then she found out the truth about them. Tsu, by the way, there was something I wanted to talk to you about, Midori. Midoriya, what is it, Tsu? Tsu, that quirk of yours kind of reminds me of All Might's. Kendo, I can understand that perspective as well. Setsuna/Pony, same here. They both said this, and Yanagi and Kodai nodded in agreement. Aizawa, all right, that's enough. We're here, he said as both classes stepped out of the bus, and they looked at the vast Hino. All right, class, so there's another pro hero I would like you to meet. Hello, everyone. Midoriya, oh no way. It's Dash, he said before getting interrupted by Uraraka. Uraraka, it's the pro hero 13, well known for saving heroes. She's my favorite hero. She geeked out, surprising Midoriya. 13, it's nice to meet a fan. Aizawa asked 13, where's All Might? She responded by holding up 3 fingers. Both Aizawa and Vlad King sighed. Looks like we're going to proceed without him, they said in hushed tones, which Midoriya overheard. Then everyone went inside the 𝐬𝐮𝐽. Inside the 𝐬𝐮𝐽, both classes were amazed at what they saw inside. Walking through the entrance, they saw the central plaza, which connected all the zones, including the collapse, landslide, mountain, conflagration, flood, and windstorm zones. They were impressed with it and thought the same thing. How does you, have the budget for this? Then it began. Midoriya experienced a sudden headache while 13 described their activity. He grabbed his head in pain, drawing the attention of some nearby students. Uraraka, Deku, are you okay? She worried. Kendo, Midoriya, what's wrong? She worried. Before Midoriya could say anything, he heard a voice that wasn't his own. He's coming. Be careful. Midoriya heard in his head as he lifted his head slowly and walked towards the front, catching everyone's attention. Yaoyorozu, Midoriya. Then he noticed a purple mist portal emerge in the central plaza, with a man's hands extending out of it. Kirishima, whoa, you guys even have fake villains. Tetsu, that's so manly. Midoriya, no you guys. Those are. He said as a man covered in hands, a man covered with purple smoke, and a giant bird-looking creature came out with a bunch of criminals. Aizawa, those are the real deal, he said, his and the other teacher's eyes widening. Then he and Vlad King ran down the stairs, with Aizawa looking back at 13. 13, protect the students. We'll handle them. My quirk, it's not Dash. The villains cut off as Aizawa and Vlad King fought the villains while the other villains tried to jump them, but they dodged and countered them. So Eraserhead and Vlad King are here too, I thought All Might was supposed to be here. Did they lie to us, 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫? 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, I don't believe Torvald and Sakura would lie to us. It must have been a last-minute change. Oh well, this makes it more interesting. I guess we could hurt his pride by killing a few students. 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 makes sure that not one of them escapes. 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, yes, young Mr. He responded, using his quirk to teleport to the students. Back with Midoriya, Midoriya watched in awe as the 2 pro heroes dealt with the large group of villains. Lost in thought, he barely noticed when someone snapped him out of it. He turned to see his classmates, but they were too busy, scared, and unsure of what to do. Just then he heard a familiar voice in his head once again. You have to do something, otherwise your classmates will get hurt. I know we just met, but don't worry. You can trust us. The voice said in his head, leaving him more confused. Midoriya, wait, what did he mean by we? He thought confusedly, but he knew he was right. He knew the responsibility of being a hero, to protect and save people. This is what he signed up for. He quickly went up to Ida, shocking everyone there. Midoriya, Ida, listen up. I need you to leave this room and tell the other teachers what's happening. Ida, it. Midoriya, come on, Ida, you're the fastest one out of all of us here. Can you do that? Ida, but I can't just leave you guys. Kendo, go, Ida, we don't have much time. Ida, but. Midoriya, just go, Ida. We can take care of ourselves. He shouted, looking back at the teachers. He thought for a bit, then decided to run down to help his teachers face the villains, with some students trying to stop him. Uraraka, Deku. The girls/boys minus 𝐾𝐮𝐬𝐽, Monoma, Bakugo, Todoroki, Midoriya, /Midori, /Greenie. 13, hey, come back here. As Midoriya ran, He put on his mask, activated his quirk, and jumped at the villains. "Wait, is that a kid?" one of the villains said, gaining the attention of Izuku and 𝐻𝐿. Both teachers said as Midoriya landed and sped to a villain, punching him in the gut. He sped from villain to villain, punching them and knocking them out with just a few hits. This shocked the villains, and he quickly took them out individually. What the hell? Who is this guy? How strong is this kid? The villains are shocked by Midoriya's strength and speed. Both teachers quickly looked at Midoriya, who struggled to handle too many villains. He then sprang high in the air and could finger flick the villains away. What the hell is going on? Is this kid even a student? The villains shouted. Midoriya landed near the two pros, each of them back to back. Izuku, Midoriya, what are you doing here? He shouted as he punched a villain away. 𝐻𝐿, get back to the others, he shouted, kicking away a villain. Midoriya, sorry Mr. Izuku, 𝐻𝐿 punched a villain away, but I can't watch my teachers fight while I sit back and do nothing. He shouted as he grabbed Izuku's scarf from his neck and ran towards 6 villains. He wrapped the scarf around his arm and dashed through the villains to where it was around each of their necks. He and Izuku pulled the scarf from each end, knocking them out. Izuku/𝐻𝐿. The kid's more talented than I thought. They were impressed. As this happened, the hands guy watched the whole thing. TCK, that guy is good, he might be a problem. No matter, he doesn't matter, he said this as he turned to the entrance, watching the scene unfold. Back with the others, the students watched the scene unfold and were impressed with Midoriya's performance. Kaminari, whoa, is that Midoriya? Shoda, he's fighting like a pro. Kirishima/𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, that's so manly. The girls are most amazed at Midoriya when Shiozaki starts praying for his safety, and then Jiro snaps out of it and turns to Ida. Jiro, Ida, what the hell are you still here? Setsuna, yeah, Midoriya is doing his job, and he gave you an order. Cammy, yeah, just go ahead and do it, bro. Ida, but I dash, he was still stuttering. Bakugo, didn't it for eyes, just get the hell out. He shouted as he had enough. Ida listened this time, and as he went for the door, he was stopped when a purple mist appeared before Ida could do anything. Out came 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏, sorry to interrupt, but I'm afraid I can't let you leave. 13, who are you? She asked as she approached the students. 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏, oh, how rude of me. We are the League of Villains. We were told All Might was supposed to be here, but he's not. It's rather unfortunate, but I wonder what the symbol of peace's reaction would be if we killed a couple of his students. He explained himself as Bakugo, Kirishima, Kamakiri, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 lunged at him. Kendo, Kamakiri, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, guys wait. 13, no, stop. She shouted at them, but they didn't hear. Bakugo, Kirishima, Kamakiri, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 went through 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's body. He then spread his purple mist around the students in different areas around the UJ, with some students lucky enough to stay put. Author POV for those who are wondering where they went, here's a summary of their whereabouts. The entrance, Mina Ashido, Tenya Ida, Achiko Uraraka, Rikido Sato, Mizo Shoji, Hantashiro, Kinoko Komori, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 Tsuburaba, Setsuna Tokuge Manga Fukudashi, Nito Monomo Windstorm/Downpour Zone. Koji Koda, Fumikage Tokoyami, Shirhai Kuwaro, Juroda Shishida, Hiryu Rin Flood Zone. Tsuyu Azui, Minoru Mineta, Nairenjiki Shoda, Akiza Izinski, and Takamaki Conflagration Zone. Mashareo Ojiro, Yosetsu Aways, Pony Tsunatori, Juzo Hananuki Mountain Zone. Denki Kaminari, Kyoka Jiro, Momo Yairozu, Itsuka Kendo, Ibara Shiozaki, Kojiro Bondo Landslide Zone. Shoto Todoroki, Toru Hagakure, Senkaibara, Taguru Kamakiri, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Reiko Yanagi? 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, this is where everyone will be. Anyway, back to the story. Back with Midoriya, both pro-heroes saw the whole thing as Vlad King trapped some villains with his hardened blood Izawa. Damn it, he said, wrapping some villains with his scarf. pulling them towards him and punching and kicking them in frustration. Then he turned to Midoriya. Midoriya, listen up, your classmates are in trouble. Vlad King, and some of my students are also in trouble, he said as Midoriya flicked his finger, creating considerable wind pressure to blow some villains away. Midoriya, oh see I gotta get to them, but what about you guys? Vlad King, just go Aizawa, and I can handle these punks. Midoriya was ready to respond when he noticed 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 using his portals to transport his classmates throughout the 𝐬𝐮𝐦𝐬𝐴. Midoriya, damn it, he shouted as he dashed to the entrance. As he arrived, the students noticed him approaching. Midoriya, all the boys and 13 shouted beside Monoma. Ashido, Uraraka, Komori, Setsuna, Deku, /Midori, /Midoriya, they shouted as they ran towards him. Midoriya exclaimed, is everyone okay? But where's Ida? As the others reassured him they were fine. Ida, I'm right here, he stated as he walked towards him. Midoriya, that's good. What about everyone else? Uraraka, we don't know what happened to them. Ashido, Ida was going to get help, but then this mist guy came out of nowhere. Komori, then he teleported everyone away from here, and it was so scary. She said scared. Midoriya, he did. Where could they have been teleported to? He said, thinking of their whereabouts. Setsuna, wait Midori. What if everyone was teleported to the zones? She said, making Midoriya look back at the different zones. Midoriya, they might be a good place to check out. Before anything could happen, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 appeared behind them. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, so you must be the one who's giving my comrades a run for their money, he said, stretching his long purple mist arm toward Midoriya to teleport him away. As he got close, another portal appeared, teleporting him away from them. Confused, everyone turned to see Monoma copying his quirk and creating a portal. Monoma shouted, don't forget about us, as Setsuna and Uraraka ran towards him and saw a metal piece on him. Setsuna launched her arm, landing a hit on the metal. Sato punched it, causing 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 to stumble. Uraraka grabbed it, using her quirk to make him float. Uraraka/Setsuna, go now, Ida. They turned toward him and shouted. Ida didn't hesitate, running out of the 𝐬𝐮𝐦𝐬𝐴 to get help. 13, good work you three. We'll get back up soon, she said as 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 teleported away. Midoriya, now that he's gone, turned to Monoma. Monoma, I need you to come with me so we can get our classmates, he stated, but before Monoma could say anything, Midoriya continued. With the quirk you copied will allow you to send everyone back here, so it's best to avoid getting involved in fighting and just focus on that quirk, okay? Monoma, why should I assist you? So you can flaunt your superpower, he bragged, but Midoriya cut him off. Midoriya, Monoma, we don't have time for this issue. Our classmates need help. Will you help or do I have to go by myself? Monoma was silent for some time, exaggerating before ticking off the classmates, causing them to snap at him. Ashido, Uraraka, Sato, Shoji, Siro, Komori, Tsuburaba, Setsuna, Manga, 13. Monoma. Monoma, alright I'll help, okay? Midoriya, alright good. Well in that case, grab Monoma and did the firemen's carry, you better hold on tight. Everyone there was surprised by this, but not as much as Monoma was himself. Monoma, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? I can walk myself, you know. Midoriya, I'll be able to get us to our classmates faster, so shut up already, he said as some students chuckled a bit. As Midoriya was going off, someone put their hand on his arm. He turned to see Uraraka, Ashido, Komori, and Setsuna with worried expressions. Uraraka, Deku wait. Ashido, why you don't have to do this? Midoriya, I know, but they'll need some help. Besides, that's what a hero would do. The girls were still worried about him, so the last two finally started. Komori, then be careful out there. Setsuna, don't make us worry too much. Midoriya, nod, I'll do my best. He smiled and turned around, then told Monoma, get ready, dude. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Monoma, wait, what? he asked before Midoriya dashed to the zones to rescue their classmates. Windstorm/downpour zone. In this zone, Koda, Tokoyami, Kurwaro, Shishida, and Rin fight off villains who challenge them. Shishida, we have to keep on fighting. Kurwaro, they just keep on coming. Tokoyami, don't forget Midoriya is also fighting his all. Rin, he's right, so we must fight our all too. Koda, nodded 𝐬𝗓𝗓 Villain 1, let's take care of these kiddies, he said, and the others laughed. As they were getting close, the 5 students stepped back. Before the villains could do anything, a gust of wind blew them away as they crashed through a building. The students turned to see Midoriya and Monoma. Shishida, Kurwaro, Tokoyami, Rin, Midoriya. Monoma. Midoriya, are you guys okay? He asked everyone. Shishida, we're okay Midoriya. Kurwaro, yeah, all thanks to you. Tokoyami, you still find ways to surprise me every day. Rin, we would have been goners if it weren't for you. Koda, nodded 𝐬𝗓𝗓 Midoriya, that's good to hear. Well, anyway, turned to Monoma. Monoma made a portal to the entrance. Monoma, alright, I'll make it. This will prove who's dash, he gloated as Midoriya interrupted. Midoriya, just the thing. Portal. He said, not having it. Monoma, okay, he sneered as he made the portal. Midoriya, thank you. He sighed and turned to the others. Now, I want you all to go ahead while we gather the rest, he said, and they nodded. Then they walked through. Midoriya, alright, that's 1 and 5 to go, he said as he picked up Monoma and left for the next zone. Flood zone. In the subsequent area, Midoriya and Monoma arrived at the flooded zone. Upon seeing villains in the water, they hid in nearby bushes. They glanced at the boat where the villains surrounded 𝐬𝗓𝗓, and Shota, and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Midoriya thought for a moment and had an idea. Midoriya, okay, I have an idea. I'll go and help our classmates. You stay hidden until everything is cleared, alright? He said in a hushed tone. Monoma, what a minute. Why don't I just teleport you to them or just teleport them to the entrance? He shouted in a hushed tone. Midoriya, well, don't, because if you do, the villains will see you, and you'll be in danger. Plus, you'll be putting our classmates in danger as well. Now come on, let's do this. He shouted in a hushed tone. Monoma, alright, he said, annoyed. He stayed put as Midoriya ran toward his classmates. On the boat, the villains surrounded the boat carrying 𝗬𝗓𝗓, Shota, 𝗀𝐻𝐮𝐿, and Anne, and they were concerned about the situation. 𝗀𝗓 and Shota exclaimed in fear, are we going to die? Echoing their anxiety. And, calm down you two. We're going to be fine, she said, trying to calm them down. Yeah, well, what are we supposed to do? 𝗀𝗓, what the hell can we do? We got ambushed by villains and they want to kill All Might. Shota, and on top of that, there are a lot of villains in the water and there are only 5 of us. 𝗀𝐻𝐮𝐿, will you two shut up? She shouted, annoyed as everyone turned to look at her. Did you two forget we're trying to be heroes? We have to expect this whenever we're pros. If you guys can't handle that, you don't have what it takes to be a hero. This affected them momentarily. Afterward, they regained their composure and listened to what the villains had to say. What the hell? Who is that? What is he up to? The villains exclaimed while the students listened. They cautiously peeked out to find only the villains looking for the person in question. They didn't see that person, but then they felt someone land near them. They turned quickly to see it was Midoriya, whom they talked about as he lifted his mask. Shota, and minus 𝗀𝐻𝐮𝐿. Midoriya. Midoriya, are you guys okay? He said before 𝗀𝗓 tackled him down and hugged him hard. 𝗀𝗓, crying, Midoriya, you came for us. We're saved now. Midoriya, struggling, yeah. Okay. 𝗀𝗓, let go of me. He said, pushing 𝗀𝗓 off. Shota, still, thank you for coming for us, he said, relieved. What are you doing here, Midoriya? Midoriya, I came to get you guys back to the entrance. And, wait, what about our teachers? Midoriya, well, I left them to fight off the villains, he was saying before being grabbed by 𝗀𝐻𝐿, who looked ticked off. 𝗀𝐻𝐿, Angry, so you abandon the teacher to fight off villains by themselves. She yelled at him, shocking the other students there. Midoriya, wait, what? 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, angry you left them so you can save yourself. Yet you are some big shot that the whole school is talking about, but all I see is a scumbag that cares about no one but himself. She shouted, shocking everyone again but Midoriya the most. She retrieved a dual monster card from the deck box attached to her breathes, prepared to strike him as she continued, "You don't deserve to be a hero, you piece of dash." "Shut up," was said as everything got quiet, and even 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 was surprised. The one who said it was Midoriya, as he continued, "You think I wanted to leave them? They told me to help you guys and that they can handle it alone. So I came here to get our classmates back to safety because it's what heroes do, okay?" Things quieted for a while. Eventually, 𝐀𝐮𝐴 slowly let go of him, and the rest were shocked by Midoriya's anger. 𝐸𝐻𝐻, 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘, and "Hey, make sure I never get on his bad side," he said in a low tone, and they nodded in agreement. Midoriya, "Look, you don't have to like me or not, but all I ask from you is trust." 𝐀𝐮𝐴, "Why should we trust you, huh?" Midoriya, "Because a hero must gain the trust of his peers no matter how long it takes," he said sternly, causing 𝐀𝐮𝐴 to be taken aback. So what are you going to do, Midoriya?" she asked. Midoriya thought for a minute and then had an idea. "Midoriya, I'm going to create a whirlpool for the villains to get caught. Then I want you guys to get away while doing that, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Points at him, I want you to throw your ball at them to trap them." 𝗏𝗏𝗏, "Wait, what?" He was shocked by what he had just heard. "𝐬𝐿, are you sure he can do this? And, come on 𝗏𝗏𝗏, with your quirk, we can trap them for a while." 𝗏𝗏𝗏, hold on Midoriya, I can't do this. My quirk isn't strong like yours. What if I mess up? What if we die? What if dash? He was rambling until Midoriya gently placed his hand on his shoulder, stopping him as he looked at him. Midoriya, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, listen to me. What defines a hero isn't their quirks but their heart and the will to improve their world. That's something that no one, not even the strongest villain, can't take away from you, he said. Everyone was mesmerized by what Midoriya said. They started to feel more confident as Midoriya continued. Plus, it doesn't matter if your quirk is weak, strong, useless, or even villainous. It's about how the user uses them. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. Everyone present felt motivated by Midoriya's words and now wished to support him. The most surprised were N and 𝐀𝐮𝐴. 𝐀𝐮𝐴 pondered her misconceptions about him, realizing that perhaps not everyone is terrible. And, meanwhile, drifted into memories of her childhood. Flashback starts we see and as a little girl crying with her mother, Nemuri Kayama, who comforts her because of what happened at school. And child, crying, "Mommy, why are people scared of me?" she said as Nemuri rubbed her back. "Nemuri, it'll be alright, sweetie. People fear what they don't understand," she said in a motherly tone. And stopped crying as it turned to anger. And child, a bit angry, everyone keeps saying that I'm a villain because of my quirk. I didn't ask to have this power. Maybe that's why my parents didn't want me because of this. She shouted, surprising Nemuri. After a brief pause in the conversation as N collected herself, Nemuri chose to reveal the truth about herself to and, Nemuri, and, "Sweetheart, may I share something with you?" And nodded in agreement. She gently patted her head and continued, "What I'm about to tell you needs to stay between us, all right?" And child, "Okay." Nemuri, "I'm a pro hero. The R-rated hero, Midnight," she said proudly, and N was shocked to hear this. And child, "Shocked you're a hero." Midnight, "That's right. When I was younger, I was in your situation as well. People thought my quirk was villainous and that it'd attract the wrong attention," she said. And was shocked to hear this and wondered. And child, "So, how did you go through it?" Midnight, "I never gave up. I went through the hero course and showed everyone I could be a hero. How do you know I'd go through it?" She proudly said as and nodded quickly. Nemuri continued in a calm tone. "I had friends who believed in me and were always by my side, so I'll always be there for them as well." And child, "But I don't have any friends." Midnight, "Don't worry, sweetie. You'll find the friends you're looking for someday. Maybe even a lover as well. And child, really? Midnight nodded, and I want you to remember this. What makes a hero is not a quirk, but their will and ambitions to keep moving forward. If you still want to be a hero, show everyone what you got. She said and thought for a moment and was still worried about her choice. Nemuri noticed and smiled as she pulled in close. It's okay if you don't have an answer, so think about it. Who knows, someday you'll know when the time is right. And child, okay mommy. Flashback ends as she began to feel more confident about her quirk and recalled that day, but the taunts from her tormentors resurfaced, causing her to hesitate once more. She looked at Midoriya as he was preparing his plan. Midoriya, alright, I'm going out there. Once I give the signal, you guys make a break for it while 𝐻𝐼neta traps them. Are we good? He said as they nodded in agreement. Then the plan began. The villains see Midoriya approaching the boat and then jumping from the ship, shocking them. They questioned his actions and believed he wanted to die as Midoriya activated his quirk and then flicked his finger, creating a massive whirlpool. He turned to his classmates. Midoriya, now go, he shouted as 𝐬𝐶 carried 𝐻𝐼neta in her arms and everyone else on her tongue. As 𝐻𝐼neta was in the center, he started his part of the plan. 𝐻𝐼neta, you. He screamed as he grabbed and threw his purple ball at the villains, trapping them together. As Midoriya watched the plan he had made work, someone called him. He turned to see that it was 𝐻𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 calling him. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐽, Midoriya, grab on, she shouted, extending her hand to him. He grabbed her hand, and they landed safely. As they walked for a bit, Midoriya went towards a bush. Midoriya, 𝐻𝐼noma, you still there? 𝐻𝐼noma, of course, I'm still here, you idiot. And what took you so long? Midoriya, oh, chill out, dude. There were villains, remember? 𝐻𝐼noma, yeah, well, I would have saved them faster if I dropped a portal under them. Midoriya, and I told you you would attract attention from the villains and would have come to you. 𝐻𝐼noma, TCK. Midoriya turned towards the group as he was about to ask them, but he was interrupted by a hug. It shocked everyone that the one hugging was 𝐻𝐻𝐿. 𝐻𝐻𝐿, thank you, Midoriya, she said in a low tone. Midoriya was surprised by this and returned the hug. Midoriya, you're welcome, 𝐒𝐮𝐦𝐬𝐚. They stayed like this for a while, and 𝐻𝐼noma and 𝐶𝐲 were shocked because 𝐻𝐻𝐿 wasn't like this to anyone in their class. And 𝐶𝐮 became irritated and jealous of what was happening. 𝐻𝐼neta was so angry and crying so hard that Midoriya was hugged. 𝐻𝐼neta, Midoriya, you lucky 𝐵𝐵. How are you getting so many babes, especially a hottie like her? He thought. As soon as Midoriya and 𝐻𝐻𝐿 let go of the hug, and 𝐶𝐮 quickly hugged and thanked him with a response anytime. After they let go, Midoriya turned to 𝐻𝐼noma. Midoriya, 𝐻𝐼noma, create a portal so they can return to the others. 𝐻𝐼noma, okay. He said that he had created a portal for the entrance. Midoriya turns back to the others. Alright, guys, go through the portal, and it'll take you back to the entrance. 𝐶𝐮, wait, what about you two? Midoriya, 𝐻𝐼noma and I will get our classmates back. 𝐶𝐲, are you sure about this? 𝐻𝐼neta, what if you get hurt? Midoriya, don't worry about me. We'll be fine, okay? I promise. And just be safe, alright? She said as 𝐻𝐻𝐿 nodded. They were about to walk through the portal. 𝐶𝐲, Midoriya, wait, he said, causing everyone to freeze in place and look at him. Midoriya, what is it, 𝐶𝐲? 𝐶𝐲, please bring Kendo back, I don't know what to do without her. Midoriya, don't worry, I'll bring her back. In the meantime, I want you to watch our classmates at the entrance until I get Kendo, okay? He said as 𝐶𝐲 gained some confidence. 𝐶𝐲, I'll try my best as Class B's vice representative. Midoriya nodded, that's good. 𝐶𝐲 gestures for everyone to walk through the portal, as he was the last one to enter, and he closed it. Midoriya, okay, that's 2 zones down, and we got 4 left. Come on, let's go. 𝐻𝐼noma, okay. He said as Midoriya carried him to the next zone again. Conflagration zone. Going to the next zone, we see Ojiro, Aways, Pony, and Hananuki fighting off villains and trapping them as they come at them. Ojiro, These villains just keep on coming. 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐵, don't hold back, guys and one girl. Pony, how did this happen? 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐵, who knows? Just keep fending them off. They managed to fend off the villains for some time, but the fire and heat began wearing them down. The villains took notice and started to get closer. Pony, do they seem happy to see us, or is it just me? She asked nervously, inching closer to the group. Villain 1, looky here, the heroes are getting tired, he laughed. Villain 2, do the babies need their blankets and milk? He mimicked a child, and everyone there looked at him with a really dude expression. Villain 3, hey boys, leave the girl to me. She's cute, and I want to have some fun with her. He stated, liking his lips and scaring Pony as the boys protected her. The remaining villains agreed with Villain 3 and prepared to attack when a damaged bus unexpectedly crashed into them, leaving everyone in shock. Shortly thereafter, another damaged bus struck the other villains, surprising the students. Turning around, the students saw Midoriya and 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, with Midoriya being the one who had hurled the buses at them. Midoriya, oh okay. I think I might have overdone it. He winced at the villains. 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, oh really you think? He said sarcastically. Ojiro, 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, Pony/𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, Midoriya, as he and 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴 walked towards them. Midoriya, is everyone all right? Ojiro, we're okay now. Pony, smile, thank you for saving us, Midoriya. 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, much obliged, Midoriya. 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, thanks I guess. Irritated but thankful for Midoriya. Midoriya glanced at the villains he had struck with the bus, noting they were all unconscious, before returning to his classmates. Midoriya, they should be out for a while. Now, 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, do you know what to do? He said as 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴 rolled his eyes, unwilling to take orders from Class A, especially Midoriya. Then he created a portal to the entrance while Midoriya turned back to his classmates. Now, I want you all to go through the portal. It will take you back to the entrance. Pony, wait, what about you and 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴? Midoriya, we're going to get the rest of our classmates. Now get going, we'll be fine. Ojiro, alright, good luck out there. 𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴/𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐴, likewise. They each walked through the portal, but before Pony could walk through, she quickly hugged Midoriya. Pony, please be careful, she said, worried as Midoriya returned the gesture. Midoriya, I will, he said, smiling at her as they let go of the hug. Pony walked through the portal as it closed. Then, the two heroes quickly went on to the next zone. Mountain Zone. Moving on to the next zone, Kendo and Yaoyorozu fought off the villains while Jiro used a metal pipe created by Yaoyorozu. Bando glued the villains to immobilize them, and Shiozaki trapped them, using her vines as a shield. However, Kaminari was scared there. Kaminari, oh CV, what are we going to do? Are we going to die? He screamed as Jiro was getting annoyed. Jiro, can you just shut up? You have electrical powers, so go ahead and zap them. Then we can get out of here, she exclaimed as she struck the villain aside. Kaminari, irritated, did you seriously not pay attention when we had our hero test? If I use too much of my quirk, I'll go into UMB mode. Some partner you were. Yaoyorozu, would you two just stay focused in case you've forgotten our situation, she said as she struck two of them. Bando, she's right you guys. Worry about the villains that keep on coming. Shiozaki, cowardice has no place among heroes, she said firmly, her vine-like hair whipping two villains across their faces with precision, knocking them back. Kendo, Gore, we need to finish this quickly. I have to know if the rest of my classmates are okay, she said as her large hand punched three villains away. As the two were about to sneak attack her, Kaminari called it out. Kaminari, hey, look out. As Kendo turned to see the two villains coming from behind and about to attack her, they were captured by vines wrapping around them. Shiozaki, I will not allow you to gang up on someone who's not paying attention. That's a sign from the Lord to help my classmates, she said as the light shone upon her, making everyone question, where is that light coming from? Kaminari was angry with himself. He saw everyone fighting for their lives while he was just a burden to them. The six huddled together, tension thick in the air. Yaoyorozu's eyes flicked toward Shiizaki's hair, then turned toward Kaminari, remembering that his quirk was electricity. Then a thought clicked into place. Yaoyorozu, I got it. The students turned to her. Shiizaki, how does your hair handle electricity? Shiizaki, it's not very conductive. She responded immediately, her tone calm. Yaoyorozu, can you wrap all of us in it? She asked. Shiizaki nodded, already preparing to act. Bando, wait, so what's the plan? Yaoyorozu, I want everyone to get around me, as Shiizaki will create a shield for us so that Kaminari can electrify every villain here. Kaminari, wait, what? He said as everyone gathered around Yaoyorozu. As Shiizaki started making the shield with her vines. Kaminari was confused about what was happening, and Jiro got annoyed. Jiro, would you just go be useful and use your quirk already? She shouted as she kicked him toward the horde of villains approaching them. Thanks to Shiizaki's vines, Kaminari latched onto a big villain and electrified all the villains except the students. After a little bit it went quiet. Shiizaki undid her shield to see all the villains unconscious, and Kaminari almost had his brain fried. Kaminari, guys? You did it. He could say. As a big villain he returned, conscious that it would attack him. The students were about to charge at him before he banged on the head. The students, including Kaminari, who had just turned to see him, were surprised by this. The villain stood there for a bit until it fell forward. As he landed, they saw the cause of the hit. It was an unconscious Nido Monoma, who had a big bump on his head. Kaminari, Thuro, Yaoyorozu, Kendo, Shiizaki, Bando. Monoma, they said, shocked. Suddenly, they heard a voice as the owner ran towards them. All right, headshot. And hey, sorry about that, Monoma. But hey, at least you pulled your weight and you did. Good job. Exclaimed the voice's owner. It was Midoriya. Noticing everyone's gaze, he added, oh, hey, everyone, you all good. Kaminari, Thuro, Yaoyorozu, Kendo, Shiizaki, Bando. Midoriya. Kaminari, man, am I glad to see you. Jiro, thanks for saving Midoriya and saving this idiot. She smiled, pointing at Kaminari, shooting a glare at her. Yaoyorozu, smile, we're grateful for your help. Shiizaki, smile, you truly are assigned by God himself. She clenched her hands together like she was praying. Bando, thanks for the help, but why did you throw Monoma? Kendo, Midoriya, I'm glad you're here, but I have to know how my classmates are. She asked, worried about them. Midoriya, don't worry. They're fine, and Monoma and I are gathering everyone back to the entrance. He smiled, reassuring her. Anyway, I want you guys dash, he was saying until he was bonked on the head with a metal pipe from Monoma, who woke up and ticked. Midoriya turned to him. Ow, the hell was that for? Monoma, for throwing me at the villain, you but. Midoriya, hey, you said you wanted to help. Monoma, not like that, you dumbass. Midoriya, you're the one who's bitchin' and complaining about not getting anything to do. Kendo was about to step in to shut up Monoma, but Shiizaki used her vines to cover his mouth. Shiizaki, Midoriya, although I appreciate what you did, please refrain from saying that sinful word again. Midoriya, right, I'm sorry, he said, bowing to her. Shiizaki, apology accepted. As for Monoma, I'll have to teach him for not just saying such sinful words but also striking an angle sent from our Lord himself. She said, making scary eyes at Monoma, scaring him. Midoriya, anyway Monoma, if you have calmed down, make the portal for our classmates. He looked at Monoma, who was muffled in Shiizaki's vines. Monoma calmed down and created the portal for the students. All right, guys, your chariot awaits. Yaoyorozu, wait Midoriya, what about you and Monoma? Midoriya, we're going to get our classmates back. Kaminari, are you nuts? Bando, you can't pull off a stunt like that. Jiro, yeah, that's suicide, she said as Monoma gave her an answer that he wished he could never tell. Monoma, I believe it or not, but you guys are the fourth zone that we visited, and Midoriya was able to save our classmates there. This took the students aback, but Kendo intervened before anyone could respond. Kendo, Midoriya, I want to join you guys. And I won't take no for an answer. As Class B's representative, I must ensure my classmates are fine. She said that Midoriya saw her determination when he touched her shoulder. Midoriya, Kendo, we need your help, but not with us. Hoping you could check on everyone at the entrance, including your class. Shota's already there and waiting for his class representative. Turns to Yaoyorozu. Yaoyorozu, you're in charge of our class until I get there. Yaoyorozu, are you sure? Midoriya, yeah, you'll just have to trust me. He said this hesitantly to Yaoyorozu and then reassured him. Yaoyorozu, roger that. Jiro, but Midoriya. Midoriya, don't worry. We're class representatives, and it's our job. Turns to Kendo. Right, Kendo. Kendo, alright. The students went through the portal, but before Shiozaki could walk through, she called out, Midoriya? Midoriya, yeah. He answered as Shiozaki walked towards him and gave him a gentle hug. Shiozaki, may the gods look upon you. She was silent for a while and finally said, and, please be careful. Before Midoriya could say anything, Shiozaki let go and quickly went through the portal, which had just closed. Midoriya stood there for a few minutes, picked up Monoma, and went through the next zone. The entrance. Kendo and Yaoyorozu stepped through the portal, followed closely by Shiozaki, the last to emerge. With the help of 13, they both reassured their classmates that everything would be all right. They turned to see Aizawa and Vlad King fighting off villains, and they could see they were almost out of breath. The girls there thought the same thing. Please be careful, Midoriya. Landslide zone. Heading to the next zone, we see Hagakure, Kaibara, Kamakiri, and Tetsu taking out villains individually. Kaibara, come on, we have to push onward. Kamakiri, keep him coming. I'll take them all on. Tetsu, yeah, this is how a man should act. Hagakure, I might need some help over here. An enormous ice glazer encased them as more villains were about to leap at them. The students and the villains were taken aback, and they then shifted their attention to the source, Shoto Todoroki. Todoroki, this had to be embarrassing for you guys. You're all experienced villains, and you lost to a first-year student who barely broke a sweat. He said this in a low tone as he walked toward the others. Hagakure was heading towards Todoroki to thank him, but he passed her without a glance, which made her mad. Hagakure, hey, Yudi, I appreciate you saving our butts, but you don't have to be in but about ignoring us, even me. Todoroki, I didn't even see you there. He said, making Hagakure even madder. He continued, plus, I didn't do it to save you. We're heroes in training. You need to learn to save yourself. This comment made the others as mad as he was. Hagakure, you but. Kaibara, what the hell, dude? Kamakiri, oh, you are such a cocky prick. Tetsu, that is so not Mally. Before things got heated, something landed near them, causing the students to freeze. However, they relaxed when they saw Midoriya carrying Monoma. Tetsu, oh hey, it's Midoriya. Kamakiri, looks like he brought Monoma for some reason. Kaibara, what brings you here? Todoroki didn't say anything. He glared at Midoriya as he put Monoma down. Hagakure was bouncing happily as she went up to Midoriya. Hagakure, hey Midori, I never thought that you would come to save me again. Ah, you're my hero. Midoriya, oh, I didn't do anything. Looks around, you guys had it under control. Todoroki, what are you doing here? Midoriya, we came to get you guys and take you back to the entrance. Kaibara, thank you for that. Tetsu, but how are you going to do that? Midoriya, like this. Turn to Monoma portal, please. He asked, pointing at him as he created the portal for his classmates. They walked in before Hagakure hugged Midoriya, then let go and went in. As it was, Monoma spoke to Midoriya. Midoriya, I don't know how long I can hold this quirk. Midoriya, come on Monoma, you can do this. We have the last zone, try to hold out a little longer. He said, to which Monoma's nodded, and then they went to the last zone. Collapsed zone. In the final zone, Kirishima and the girls, Kodai, Yanagi, and Kami, watched as Bakugo became obsessed with these villains to the point that they were a little scared to join the battle. Kirishima, sweat drop man, Bakugo is really into this, huh? Yanagi, shaking Bakugo is scary, and I mean really scary. Kodai, turned to Cammy, how did you deal with him? Cammy, T-Beach, I have no clue. Like that's so cray-cray sis. After a bit, Bakugo finished and walked towards the others, showing off. Bakugo, how to do like that, ya sidekicks? Kirishima, sweat drop it was. Manligus. But Bakugo. Cammy, bro, did you really have to flex that hard? She said, and Yanagi and Kodai nodded in agreement. Bakugo, hell yeah I did. I must show that I will be the next #1 hero. As he mentioned, another villain was preparing a sneak attack, and Bakugo was alerted. At that moment, the villain was forcefully thrown against the wall. Everyone realized it was Midoriya, accompanied by Monoma. Midoriya, the cavalry has arrived. Everyone was surprised to see Midoriya. Before anyone could speak, Bakugo cut them off, visibly angry. Bakugo, damn it, what the hell are you doing here, Deku? He shouted as he got in Midoriya's face. Midoriya, it's called saving your butt, Bakugo. Bakugo, I didn't need saving, especially from you and Copycat here. Monoma, oh you didn't. From my perspective, you got saved from a student from the superior classroom. But you don't want your ego to die another moment from the great and powerful Bakugo, everyone. Bakugo, will you shut up? You're more annoying than Deku. Monoma, oh I'm annoying. Let's see who's the superior class once and for all. Bakugo, I'll so enjoy killing you Demon Extra. He said to Monoma as he walked towards him. Before they could do anything, Midoriya intervened between them. Midoriya, would you two knock it off? Now is not the time for this, we must return with the other. Yanagi, others. Midoriya, yeah, Monoma and I have been getting our classmates and sending them back to the entrance. Cammy, OMD that's hella wild Midoriya. You're seriously such a vibe, Midoriya. Thanks, Cammy. Turn to Monoma now, Monoma, make a last portal for the last batch of students. As Monoma was about to take action, Bakugo stepped in. Bakugo, F it. I'm not getting saved by anyone. I'd rather the villains kill me if it means you two are the ones who rescue me. Besides, I'll take on any villain because I dash. He was saying this until Monoma created a portal under him, causing him to fall into it. This made the students laugh a bit. Midoriya, you know what, Monoma, I'll credit you for that. It was funny. He laughed a bit until he calmed down. Monoma created the portal for the rest as they walked through it. As soon as it was those two, Monoma looked at Midoriya as he reassured him. Midoriya, you go first, I'll be right behind you. He said, and Monoma nodded and went through. As Midoriya was about to walk through it, another portal appeared under him, causing him to fall through it. At the central plaza, Midoriya fell through the portal from a high space and landed hard. Midoriya slowly got up until someone grabbed him on the collar, and he saw the villain with his hands again. Well, looky what we have here, Kurohige. It's a student here. He said, putting his hand on his shoulder, minus his middle finger. Midoriya was about to attack until he said, wouldn't try anything if I were you. The moment all 5 fingers touch you, you'll be disintegrated. Kurohige, yes, it's him, young and star. The one causing our comrades trouble. Midoriya, who are you? He said sternly. Oh right, I'm Tamura Shigaraki, the leader of the League of Villains. He noted that Midoriya had seen Izuku and Vlad King catching their breath and had noticed Midoriya there. Izuku, Midoriya huff are the students huff okay. Vlad King, what huff about my huff students? Huff Midoriya, they're all okay. I'm sure 13 is watching them. Shigaraki, I'm not so sure. Look over there, he said, pointing at the entrance. Midoriya looked at the entrance and was shocked by what he saw. Then Izuku and Vlad King looked and were just as shocked. 13 was on the ground, hurt, with the backside of her hero's suit ripped out. The students were around her, and some noticed Midoriya's situation. Back at the entrance, Mineta, guys, it's Midoriya, he said, pointing at him. The students were shocked that Midoriya had been caught and was in trouble. Uraraka, this is bad. Setsuna, Monoma, can't you just make a portal for Midoriya? She yelled at him as Monoma tried to create one, but it was no good. Monoma was at his limit. Back at the Central Plaza Shigaraki, I must admit, I'm impressed with how far you've gone to save your classmates. Turning to 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, he said, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, let's bring out the main event. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, as you wish, young. He said that as he created a portal, what came out was nothing you had ever seen. Emerging was a towering, black humanoid creature. Its brain was exposed at the top, oversized eyes surrounded it, and a beak-like mouth filled with sharp teeth. It had a muscular physique adorned with numerous scars and appeared taller than All Might. Every student, including the two pro heroes, was shocked to see this. They were scared of it as it looked like something out of a horror movie. Midoriya, scared, oh my god. Aizawa, shocked, what the hell. Vlad King, shocked, what is that? As Midoriya was shocked and scared by its presence, he thought to himself, Midoriya, what in the world is that? Is his quirk a mutation or what? For some reason, staring at it makes me feel uneasy. He thought as Shigaraki looked at everyone's expressions and said, Shigaraki, oh, where are my manners, heroes? I'd like you to meet the anti-symbol of peace, Nomu, who was created to kill All Might. Midoriya, what do you mean, kill All Might? Shigaraki, oh, I'm so glad you asked, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Shall we give our friend here a demonstration? 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, yes, I believe he'll love it, young Itar. Shigaraki, all right, then let the demonstration begin. Nomu, he said as the monstrous creature called Nomu turned its head towards him, pointing to the pro heroes. Take care of those two. As the Nomu turned its head toward the two pro heroes, Aizawa activated his quirk while Vlad King prepared to use his own. Suddenly, the Nomu dashed forward, slamming them to the ground. The impact and speed of the Nomu left the heroes stunned, and they struggled to regain their composure. Aizawa, what the hell? I used my quirk. On him. Vlad King, that thing, was so fast, I could barely do anything. Midoriya watched in shock as the Nomu took them down with a single hit each, unaffected by Aizawa's quirk. Shigaraki, I'm glad you're enjoying my Nomu. As I stated, he was created to kill All Might, and your quirk didn't work on him because he has multiple quirks. He said Midoriya, Aizawa, and Vlad King were shocked to hear this information. He continued, now let's hurt the symbol of peace's pride, Nomu, have fun with those two. Aizawa and Vlad King took a battle stance to fight off Nomu, but he proved too much for them to handle. Nomu punched, kicked, and slammed them so hard that they barely stayed conscious. Midoriya watched in horror as the Nomu attacked them, feeling a deep sense of self-loathing for just standing there. He turned to the entrance and saw his classmates watching the scene with terrified expressions, fearing they would lose their teachers. Midoriya, damn it, what am I doing? Aizawa and Vlad King senseis will get killed, and I'm just standing here. Everyone is scared. I have to help them because that's what heroes do. He thought Shigaraki was enjoying the show and made a decision. Shigaraki, oh, this was entertaining, but now I think it's time we wrap this up. Nomu finished them off. He said as Nomu walked towards the injured pro heroes. Then he turned to Midoriya and continued, will seeing this break your spirit and make you doubt your chance to become a hero? I doubt that you'll ever get an opportunity like this again. Midoriya, the truth is that this won't stop me. It was never about faith in heroes. I gotta do what I gotta do. That's all because it's what a hero does. He said as he elbowed Shigaraki's gut, causing him to let go and free Midoriya. Midoriya dashed towards the two wounded pro heroes just as the Nomu prepared to deliver a lethal strike. He swiftly lifted both of them and hurried to the entrance to hand them off to the rest of the team. Aizawa and Vlad King observed this and addressed Midoriya. Vlad King, hey kid, what are you doing? Aizawa, wait Midoriya, you're not doing what I think you're doing. Midoriya didn't say anything. He kept running towards the entrance. When he got to the stairs, every student saw them and ran towards them at the entrance. Class 1A, Mr. Izawa. Class 1B, Vlad King. Midoriya, I'm sorry everyone, I wish I had done something sooner. He felt a bit down as Bakugo and Monomo were about to talk. Shiozaki used her vines to cover their mouths, preventing them from saying anything negative to him. And, it's fine Midoriya. Yaoyorozu, we don't hold you responsible for it. Komori, why you did everything you could. Pony, yeah. Kodai, Kami, yo you slay Deku. As everyone else has said, Midoriya was feeling a bit better. He turned to the Nomu, who slammed his fists on the ground as he thought about something. Midoriya, I can't just stay here, that thing will come here eventually, so I gotta stop that thing at all costs. He thought as he activated his quirk and dashed to the Nomu. The students and the pro-heroes were taken aback and became concerned for Midoriya. The villains noticed a green blur, but before Nomu could turn his head, Midoriya swiftly punched him aside, generating a massive shockwave. This display of strength astonished the villains, infuriating Shigaraki, who scratched the back of his neck vigorously in response. Shigaraki, those two 𝐴𝐵𝐴𝐴𝐵 lied. They said he would be much of a problem, but they didn't say he'd be this strong. Kurojirai, they did say that he was always doing things behind their backs. Shigaraki, I hate this kid already. Nomu, kill this 𝐵𝐴𝐵𝐴𝐵. Nomu was able to get out of the rubble and quickly dashed to Midoriya, about to throw a punch. But he quickly dodged the punch as Nomu threw another punch at him, resulting in another dodge. Then Nomu threw a barrage of punches at Midoriya and dodged each, quickly shocking everyone watching. Class 1A/1B students, whoa Midoriya? They said in sync. Shigaraki, this kid is quick, I'll give him that. Kurojirai, he sure is good. Midoriya, holy CV, this thing is quick. If those punches hit me, I'd be a goner. I must take care of him and hurry. Before he hurts other people. He thought as Nomu stopped throwing punches. He swiftly charged at Nomu, delivering a punch before maneuvering behind it to strike again. This hit made Nomu stagger slightly, prompting Midoriya to unleash a relentless flurry of punches, all connecting. As Midoriya landed the final blow, Nomu was knocked down after taking all those hits. Midoriya, I got him, he said, catching his breath. But little did he know it wasn't over yet. Shigaraki, I wouldn't celebrate just yet. He smiled with confidence. Midoriya was confused, so the Nomu stood back up and took a battle stance. It took all those hits like they were nothing. Midoriya was shocked by this. Midoriya, what the hell? It took those punches like they're nothing. He thought. Everyone at the entrance was also shocked to see that thing could still stand despite how much damage Midoriya had done. Then, a maniacal laugh was heard out of nowhere, and the source was Shigaraki. Shigaraki, oh you poor naive little soul. Did you really think that Nomu could be defeated that easily? As I stated earlier, he was created to kill All Might. It was a valiant effort, but I want to tell you something now. Nomu here is not normal. Class 1A/1B/3 Pro Heroes. Oh really, you think? Nomu has multiple quirks, the main one being shock absorption. So he's basically author, haha, I'm sorry I had to do it. Anyway, back to the story. Everyone was shocked to hear this. Some thought, what if they did find a way to kill All Might? Midoriya figured he might not have what it took to defeat this thing, but then he heard a voice from earlier again. Don't let that thing discourage you. Everyone is in danger, you're the only one who can stop that thing. Save them. With a smile. As the hero you want to be. The voice said in Midoriya's head as he thought about what they said, and he started to gain confidence. Midoriya, they're right. I can't just stand here and do nothing. I've got to take that thing out and quickly. It looks like I have to go all out on him and give everything I've got. And go beyond my limit. He thought as he activated his quirk, but decided to go beyond his limit, which hurt him, but he wouldn't let that stop him. When Midoriya unleashed his full power, a violent wind swept everyone nearby aside. This immense force generated shockwaves that left onlookers in awe. Particularly, Shigaraki and Kurojirai were knocked back, and there was a minor effect on the Nomu. Shigaraki, his power. He was holding back. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, this is quite interesting, 𝐻𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐵. 𝗧𝗏𝗏, let's finish this right now. 𝗏𝐻, kill him already. He shouted, pointing at Midoriya. 𝗏𝐻 dashed to Midoriya, throwing a punch at him, but then Midoriya also threw a punch. When their fists collided, a shockwave was created. Then they threw another and another. Then, they each sent a barrage of punches, creating a strong wind current that reached the villains and even the students at the entrance, surprising everyone. Back at the entrance, whoa, are you guys seeing this? Look at him go. They're so fast. How strong is Midoriya? The students of classes A and B said as Mr. Izuku was surprised by Midoriya's performance. Izuku, Midoriya. He struggled to say. Back at the central plaza, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, no, I can't go near him. 𝗧𝗏𝗏, weren't you listening? His quirk is shock absorption, meaning that he can take on all of your attacks like they are nothing. He shouted. Midoriya, yeah, what of it? He said as he started to go faster than the 𝗏𝐻. It looked like he had almost created more arms out of the air, and his attacks hit the 𝗏𝐻 on the back. Then Midoriya pushed forward, saying, you said his quirk is shock absorption, not nullification. That means there's a limit to how much he can take, right? This shocked 𝗧𝗏𝗏, as Midoriya started to gain the upper hand against the 𝗏𝐻, who was being launched into the air. Midoriya would continue to follow him and fight him. As Midoriya continued, he could move in all directions to the 𝗏𝐻, which people would believe he was teleporting as a scion does. Midoriya, a real hero will always find a way to prevail, he shouted, which angered 𝗧𝗏𝗏. He tossed 𝗏𝐻 into the air, propelled himself upward, and struck 𝗏𝐻 down, forming a large crater. The onlookers were astonished. As time seemed to slow for the 𝗏𝐻, it soared slightly before Midoriya landed nearby. Midoriya, now for a lesson I've learned. I've got you two to thank because I've never understood what these words meant, but now I understand what they really mean. He shouted as he got ready for a final smash. He continued, go beyond, plus you. He threw a dynamic punch at 𝗏𝐻's face, creating a shockwave that shook the students at the entrance, leaving them barely able to stand up. The punch's impact was so significant that it ripped 𝗏𝐻's head clean off as it launched into a wall, making a massive splat on the wall, leaving nothing left. The 𝗏𝐻's body stood for a bit, then fell to the ground dead, with an out-of-breath Midoriya. Midoriya paused to catch his breath, completely exhausted. He surveyed himself and saw that his arms were red and swollen from using his quirk at a higher intensity. The sleeves of his costume were torn, the tape on his mask had disappeared, and some of the patches he had used to repair his suit were also missing. Midoriya, huff, huff. Holy 𝐶𝐻, that thing was tough. I thought I was going to die. I still can't believe that I did it. Then he remembered what happened. Oh CRP. I can't believe I killed that thing. I didn't. He said as he looked at his bloody hands with fear and exhaustion. Everyone at the entrance was shocked that Midoriya could have defeated that thing as they calmed down from the nightmare. Some were too shocked to speak. Mineta, whoa Midoriya. Kamakiri, he did it. Hananuki, he actually did it. Author, for Pony speaking English, this will be her speaking in English. Pony, that was so cool. Kirishima, I don't know what you said, but yeah, I agree. Kodai, same here. However, Bakugo and Monoma were astonished and infuriated that Midoriya managed that thing efficiently. In unison, they wondered, how powerful can this demon idiot be? Back at the villains, Shigaraki and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 were shocked to see that 𝗏𝐻, the creature made to kill All Might, had been defeated by a student who had barely started this year. This made Shigaraki boil with anger, and he wanted nothing more than for this kid to be dead. Shigaraki, no, no, no. You cheated. He was supposed to be at All Might's level, but some first-year BSD took him out like he was nothing. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, wait, 𝐻𝐮𝐻𝐿, he said before Shigaraki interrupted. Shigaraki, don't get me started on those lying BSDs. They said he wouldn't be a problem, but they said nothing about him being this strong. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, well, maybe they didn't know as well. Shigaraki, I'm going to kill those BSDs. Right after I kill him first. he said as he dashed to Midoriya with his hand out. Midoriya turned to see this, but he couldn't do anything to defend himself. He was at his limit and using all his strength to stand up. Everyone at the entrance saw this and got scared for Midoriya. But before anyone could do anything, someone dashed towards them as another followed behind. Shigaraki was about to clamber onto Midoriya as 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 saw the two running towards them. As he was about to create a portal, he heard something. I summon Hedgeguard in death mode with the spell card Horn of Light. It was heard as two giant cards appeared. A giant plant wall formed from the ground, and a horn glowed as the wall glowed. Shigaraki touched the wall, causing it to disintegrate. The villains and Midoriya turned to see that it was 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, who had come just in time. Midoriya, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. 𝐀𝐻𝐮, are you okay, Midoriya? Midoriya, yeah, I'm fine. Shigaraki, Gore, looks like I'm killing 2 students today. Maybe that'll destroy the symbol of peace's heart that he let 2 students die. He shouted as he turned to 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, understood, young 𝐒𝐮𝐻𝐵𝐺. He shouted, understanding what to do. He created 2 portals, one behind Midoriya and one behind 𝐀𝐻𝐮𝐴, as each noticed them. Midoriya/𝐀𝐻𝐵𝐵, Midoriya/𝐀𝐻𝐵𝐵 behind you. They shouted at each other. Shigaraki's hands appeared in both portals, and Midoriya and 𝐀𝐻𝐵𝐵 noticed them too late as they were about to be reached. But then another voice was heard. Let's go, 𝐻𝐻𝐵𝐵, was the cry as a massive burst of blue light appeared, and what came out was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. They all turned to see Anne, and she was using her quirk for the first time in years, but it didn't matter as she wanted to save her friends. Her quirk is 𝐻𝐻𝐵𝐵, and she is a brunette with spiraling pigtails, reflecting Anne's hairstyle. Her face is covered with a Black Panther mask with floral designs along the top and sides. Her shoulder pads match the design of the mask. She is also seen with a cigar in her mouth and a black choker around her neck. Everyone saw the giant lady and was shocked to discover a quirk like that. Midoriya was appalled because he remembered and never liked talking about her quirk. To see her quirk in action was unbelievable. The villains were surprised by this. Shigaraki, what the hell? 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, what kind of quirk is that? Before they could say anything more, Anne intervened. And, 𝐻𝐻𝐵𝐵, let's go. 𝐻𝐻𝐵𝐵, as you wish, she said as she charged into an attack. And /𝐻𝐻𝐵𝐵, Miragi. They said as the fire attack hit both Shigaraki's hands and 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫's metal neck. Shigaraki, ga. My hands. 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐡𝐨𝐫, ga, it burns. And walked towards Midoriya and Izuku, intending to protect them from the villains. Midoriya was still shocked that Anne was using her quirk. 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐡𝐨𝐫, grr. That quirk of hers is strong. Young 𝐒𝐮𝐴, we need to retreat. Shigaraki, no. Not after I kill these brats. He shouted as he dashed towards the 3 students. And 𝐀𝐻𝐵𝐵 got into a battle stance, as Midoriya was about to go into a battle stance as well, but he remembered that he was still tired, so he could barely move, let alone stand. As Shigaraki was closing in on them, his hand was shot with a bang. Then, a few more bangs come on Shigaraki, and 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐡𝐨𝐫 protects him. Everyone turned and saw Ida had returned. Ida, I'm sorry for being late, everyone. But I brought in reinforcements. He shouted at the entrance, with every teacher, also known as pro-heroes, on campus. Everyone was relieved that Ida had returned, and the teachers spread out to deal with the villains around the U.J. Shigaraki was angrier than ever that the pro-heroes had arrived, but still no All Might. Then 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐡𝐨𝐫 created a portal for them. 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐡𝐨𝐫, Shigaraki, we need to leave now. We're outnumbered, so let's go back to base. He said as he carried Shigaraki to the portal. Before Shigaraki was fully in, he took one last look at Midoriya, blaming him for everything. Shigaraki, we'll meet again. But next time, I'll kill you. He quietly said. 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐡𝐨𝐫 heard him, went through the portal, and then closed it. Everyone then calmed down as all the villains were taken into custody, and the injured were taken to Recovery Girl's office. Just then, someone finally joined them. Author, in case you forgot, All Might Skinny is this, and Buff is this. All Might, fear not, citizens. Because he was saying before being interrupted by everyone but Midoriya, scaring All Might. Them late. All Might looked at the damage and saw that he had let Izuku, Vlad King, and 13 deal with this situation. Before All Might could sulk, he noticed Midoriya struggling to walk to his classmates. Midoriya's vision was getting blurry as he was about to fall. All Might dashed towards him, catching him before he hit the ground. All Might, I have caught you, young Midoriya, he said as 𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴 noticed that Midoriya was about to faint. 𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, Midoriya, are you okay? Midoriya, why? I'm fine. Just tired, he said out of breath. All Might, you must have fought your hardest out there. And he did. All Might. The villains came to kill you, and then we got separated. 𝐻𝐮𝐴, and he came to get everyone and fought off the villains and defeated that thing that was made to kill you. She pointed at the dead Nomu. All Might glanced over at the Nomu creature lying lifeless on the ground, encircled by authorities. Then he turned back to Midoriya and concluded, All Might, I understand now. I'm sorry for letting you all go through this. You did well, young Midoriya. Now rest up, you've done enough. He said to him, then turned to the two girls and said, Can you two help him to the entrance? And 𝐻𝐮𝐴 nodded as they lifted Midoriya in a crutch-style carry. As they walked, they could both hear his 𝐴𝐵 breathing. When they reached the entrance, all the students noticed and hurried over. Class A and B, Midoriya, Midori, Deku. They all said, besides Bakugo, Monoma, and Todoroki. Uraraka, Deku, are you okay? Kami, bro, you good, Deku? Yaoyorozu, how is he? And, he's fine. He's just out of breath, so he needs to rest. Uraraka, here, let me help, she said as she used her quirk on Midoriya, making him lighter and easier to carry. As they were walking through the exit, Ida was harsh on himself. Ida, I'm sorry, Midoriya. If only I were faster and not a coward, you would be like this, he angrily said to himself. The other students heard him and were about to chime in, but they listened to a voice just then. Midoriya, it's fine, Ida. You did everything you could. So don't blame yourself. All right, he said in a hushed tone. Everyone heard this, and Ida joyfully cried to hear that Midoriya wasn't blaming him for being late. Everyone left the 𝐬𝐮𝐴 and was sent to the bus and back to 𝐬𝐮𝐴. On the bus ride, every student was silent, as no one could muster the courage to speak because of what had happened that day. All the girls kept glancing at Midoriya, who was still resting with Ida and Kirishima watching him. When they returned to the 𝐬𝐮𝐴, everyone walked to the locker rooms to remove their hero suits. As they approached the doors, Midoriya stood up, surprising the students. Kirishima, easy there, Midobro. Ida, you're still tired from today. Let us help you. Midoriya, it's fine. I can take it from here, he said as they let him go, and he strolled to the locker room. Everyone except for 3 stood there watching him with worry. The girls were distraught because Midoriya could not share his problems with anyone. Kendo wanted to thank him for saving her classmates, but couldn't help but worry about him. Then, everyone else walked into their lockers to change their clothes. Later that night at the orphanage, after helping the kids with dinner, getting them settled for the night, and reading a bedtime story, Midoriya was ready to go to bed. However, as soon as he lay down, memories flooded back. His class had faced a villainous attack, they were separated, and he had to rescue them while battling a monstrous creature, which he ultimately killed. He gazed at his right hand, the one that delivered the punch, resulting in his head colliding painfully against a wall. On the surface, he appeared unfazed, but it left a lasting scar inside. Midoriya pondered his choices and imagined different outcomes. Soon, thoughts of his classmates came to mind, and once he finished changing, he quietly left. Nobody realized he was gone. After what he had done, Midoriya didn't know how to face them. He thought they might be scared of him. He turned to his side and tried to drift to sleep, but couldn't. Bonus at the League of Villains hideout. After Kurojirai and Shigaraki returned, Shigaraki couldn't move from all the gunshots he got from the pro hero snipe. But he wasn't worried about that, he was angry that a student had foiled their plan. Shigaraki, I can't believe it. We lost. We lost to a first-year student. He shouted as he slammed his fist to the ground. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 was about to say something until they heard a voice. So I guess your little plan failed now, did it? They heard and saw 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟 standing there with drinks in their hands next to a monitor. Then 𝗏𝗏 continued, I told you to have a backup plan in case this doesn't work out. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟, I can't believe he chose you to lead this ambush, she said irritably. Shigaraki felt intense anger, watching them act all high and mighty. Shigaraki, you lying bstrds. You said that green-haired brat wouldn't be a problem, but instead killed my 𝗏𝗏 like it was nothing. 𝗏𝗏, hey, don't blame us for your failure. 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟, if anything, your 𝗏𝗏 was too weak to deal with that brat. Before things went further, the monitor turned on, and a voice emerged. It was all for one. All for one, now, settle down. This is nothing, we'll be able to make a comeback. We need to study our enemies more. Shigaraki, but 𝗏𝗏𝗟, that green-hair brat. He was saying before all for one interrupted. All for one, I understood, Shigaraki. He appears to be more resilient than we anticipated. It seems we need to step up our efforts. I need everyone to pay close attention to Izuku Midoriya. His lineage and I have matters yet to resolve, business. Everyone, as you wish, all for one. It had been a whole week since the incident at the 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, and Principal 𝗍𝗼 announced that the students of classes A and B would have some time off to recover. So, everyone spent time with their families or hung out with each other. All except Midoriya. Midoriya was watching TV, still shaken up from the 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫 incident. Midoriya didn't know that after he left the boys' locker room, all the boys besides Todoroki, Bakugo, and Monoma wanted to catch up to him. As they stepped outside, they were met by the girls still in their hero costumes, hoping to see Midoriya as well. They'd wander around the school to search for their green friend, even asking the teachers who weren't injured if they had seen him. But no luck from them. The girls got worried and tried to call Midoriya, but there was no answer. Why didn't Midoriya answer? His phone was smashed when he was fighting the 𝗏𝗏, so he didn't know that he was getting calls from the girls. So, as Midoriya thought about the 𝗏𝗏 and how much he still needed to grow, he also wondered about other things that the villains said. Midoriya, that thing. 𝗏𝗏. What even was it? When I was fighting it, it looked like it was suffering. It's ice. It was like they were telling me to help it. But instead he thought. As he was thinking this, little footsteps approached him, snapping him out of it. He turned to see Anya walking towards him. Anya, big bro Izuku, are you okay? She asked as he was about to say something, and Anya beat him to it, and don't even think about lying, 'cause you're a big liar. Midoriya, saw you always use your quirk on me, you know that. He smiled as Anya nodded. Anya, now talk to Dr. Anya in the house, she said, climbing onto his bed. Midoriya was about to protest to Anya, but she made her puppy dog eyes at him. Of course, he couldn't say no to her, but he didn't want to tell her everything that happened because it might scare her. Midoriya, well, do you remember a week ago my class and another class were about to go to the 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫? Well, let's say something scary happened. Anya, gasp, really, what happened? Midoriya, we were supposed to be learning about rescue training, but instead, we got ambushed by real villains. Anya, real villains, that's so scary. Midoriya, it was. Anya, so what happens next? She said, getting hooked on the story. Midoriya told Anya about the incident at the 𝐾𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. However, he left out the part about how he defeated the 𝗏𝗏 by killing it. Anya was amazed by this, and she then mimicked his punch. Anya, that's so awesome. I'll help you stop those villains, she said, pretending, as Midoriya couldn't help but laugh and decided to play along. Midoriya, come, young Anya, let's fight those villains and save the day. So, they played superheroes for a while, and it got to the point where the rest of the kids started joining them, and it became massive. They all had fun, but eventually, everyone got tired. Midoriya went to the front desk to see the records from the past adoption. Then he noticed that he hadn't seen 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗟 throughout the week, even today. He checked their room earlier, and no one was there. He knew they had left and put him in charge of the orphanage, but they had never been gone for this long. He was questioning this. "Excuse me," Midoriya heard, snapping him out of his thoughts. He saw a lovely, graceful, and reasonably tall young woman with light skin, black hair, and reddish eyes. Her hair was pulled back with a headband and split into two parts that crossed over her head. She wore a pair of dangling earrings. Midoriya, whoa, she's appealing, he thought as he stared and blushed a bit. "Hello. Excuse me." She said it again, snapping Midoriya out of it. Midoriya, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. How can I help you today? I haven't heard much about this orphanage, so I was wondering if I could see the children, please." Midoriya, "Are you sure you want to?" "Of course I want to. I deeply love children," she said as she was pleased. She continued, "To tell you the truth, I have a daughter and love her so much I'd do anything for her. I noticed she had been very lonely. She never told me and pretended she was okay, but I could see it in her eyes." Midoriya, "You can. Of course, as mothers, it's an instinct we have. We all care about our children." Midoriya, "They do. Then what about mine?" He thought, then answered her, "If you still want to see the kids, come with me and I'll get the kids ready." "Excellent, I can't wait." When Midoriya got everything ready, he led the young lady to a room filled with children. She observed them playing together with the few toys available. Whenever the orphanage received any funding, the two individuals in charge, whom are called the lovebirds, would take most of the money for themselves and spend it on personal luxuries. To help the kids, Midoriya took on another job to earn extra income. However, he mostly used the money to buy food, leaving insufficient funds for new toys or activities for the children. The young lady was mesmerized by the sight of kids playing together, which made her smile brightly. "Oh my, look at all these children. They all look so appealing and charming. But they are so wonderful." She smiled brightly. Midoriya, "Yeah, they sure are." He smiled. Then Anya approached Midoriya, wanting to know what was happening and who the lady was. "Anya, hey big bro, what's happening and who's that?" she asked. As Midoriya was about to answer, the lady beat him to the answer. "Oh my, you are so adorable. Who is this little lady?" Midoriya, "Oh, this is Anya. She has been with us since I found her as a baby." Anya, "You found her /me. Where did you find her /me? They both said at the same time. Midoriya, "Well, it all started when I was 12, on a rainy day." Flashback Midoriya's narrator POV. I was heading back home after a typical middle school day. It had been raining heavily for a few days, causing many school events to be cancelled. As I walked, I passed by an alley and heard strange noises. I noticed two shadowy figures near a box. They held something close to them for a while, then dropped it off by the box and quickly left the area. I never got a good look at their faces or identified who they were, but that was the last time I saw them. I was about to enter the alley to see what they had left behind. As I got closer, the cry became louder. I soon realized that the sound was coming from the box the two figures had been near. When I opened it, I was shocked to find a crying baby girl inside. I was so surprised that it all hit me right there. The two figures were her parents, and they just abandoned their baby as if it were nothing. I quickly picked up the baby as a piece of paper fell off her. I let go of my umbrella to grab the note. The note read, "Please take care of our daughter. Her name is Anya. Give her love and support, unlike us. Thank you." I wanted to find them, but then I heard a noise and saw Anya open her eyes and giggle at me. I smiled as I put away the note, grabbed my umbrella, and took Anya to the orphanage. There were a lot of setbacks, from her getting adopted to every parent being freaked out by her quirk, but I was still there to watch over her. Flashback ends Midoriya, and that's how Anya was here and where we are today. Anya and the lady were mesmerized by this story. Anya started to tear up because she was here because of Midoriya. She ran towards him and hugged him. She began to cry very hard. "Anya, crying big bro. You're the reason I'm here. Thank you. That was so sweet of you, young man. And I'm so sorry for you, Anya. I know just how you feel." She smiled at them as Anya and Midoriya looked at her questioningly. She continued, I didn't know my parents much, I only had my baby brother. But I worked hard to provide for both of us. Then I met my husband, and it was the greatest decision I've ever made. Midoriya/Anya, whoa. You know what, after hearing all that, I finally decided. She said as Midoriya and Anya looked at her. She smiled brightly and said, I'm going to adopt Anya. Midoriya, wait, really? Yes, really. She picked up Anya, who was still shocked by the news. What do you say, Anya? Do you want to be in our family? Anya didn't know what to say as she turned to Midoriya. She was scared of what Midoriya would think as she read his mind. Midoriya, Anya is getting adopted. That's great. She'll be able to have a lovely family that will care for her. She'll have a home. But knowing her, she might not want to go because of me. So I gotta wait a minute. He thought as he realized and said, Anya, are you reading my mind? This made Anya flinch as she turned to the lady, who was surprised by this. She then asked her a question. Anya, does your quirk allow you to read people's minds? She asked, and Anya hesitated for a bit, then nodded. It was silent for a bit, and then Anya heard in the lady's mind, Do you want to know what I think, Anya? She was surprised by this, as the lady continued smiling at her and said, I think you have an amazing quirk. Anya was surprised that she didn't think her quirk was villainous. She turned to Midoriya again, who smiled at her and nodded. She looked back at the lady, hugged her, and started to tear up from happiness. Anya, yes. Everyone was happy that Anya was getting adopted, and the three went to the front desk. When it became official, the lady signed the papers. Anya had a family of her own, but there was still something Midoriya wanted to know about this lady. Midoriya, oh ma'am, what's your name? Oh, how rude of me for not introducing myself. I'm 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝗏. She said, causing Midoriya to realize something. Midoriya, wait, do you have a daughter named Momo 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝗏? Yo, I do. Why? Midoriya, oh, 'cause she's my classmate. He said, making her realize something. Yo, wait, are you Izuku Midoriya? Midoriya, yeah. He said that, making her smile even more. Yo, oh, it's so lovely to meet you. My daughter talks so much about you. Midoriya, she has. Yo, yes, and she's right, you are handsome. Midoriya was shocked to hear this as they asked for a bit. Later in the day, it was time for Anya to leave for her new home. Midoriya and Anya were saying their goodbyes. Anya, I'll miss you, big bro, she said, hugging him. Midoriya, same. But don't worry, we can visit each other. He said this, also hugging her. Anya liked that idea, so they let go. She walked with her new mom to the car, and they drove off. Anya and Midoriya stared at each other until neither could see the other anymore. Midoriya stood there for a bit until he looked down and was saddened by what he saw. It was because someone else got adopted and not him again. He hated it but knew it wasn't Anya's fault, so he went inside, called someone and walked. At a park, Midoriya had been walking for a while and ended up at a park. He took a view of the park and thought it was appealing. As he continued walking through the park to take in all its beauty, he saw many kids playing together, being friends, and having a great time. Then Midoriya heard the countless parents calling their children to eat their food or to go. Midoriya was saddened because these kids were so lucky to have someone to love and care for them. Midoriya has always wanted to have a family, but then he remembered all his adoptions and interviews. It was a 124 interview he had. Author, if you know the reference, I'll give you a shout out in the next chapter. Then he started thinking about his parents and the family he had never known. He had asked 𝗏𝗏 and Sakura in the past. They always said the same thing like, how should I know? You were just dropped off. Maybe they didn't want a failure of a son like you. Maybe they knew you would be quirkless, so they decided to ditch you. He admits the last two hurt him a lot as a kid. But that doesn't mean he didn't take what they said at face value. For a while, he had nightmares about his parents abandoning him at the orphanage because he was not the son they wanted. But then he remembered that friend who helped him through that tough time. He tried to remember who that friend was, but all he could remember was that it was a blonde girl with 2 ponytails on each side of her head. She made his life better, and she was the same as him, but unlike him, she managed to get adopted, but he did not. Again, he knew it wasn't her fault. He guessed it was his fault to be forever alone. He looked up from where he sat and watched the kids having a nice family time with their parents. Midoriya, a voice called, pulling him from his thoughts as he turned to see who was speaking. The voice belonged to 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, who wore a white, off-the-shoulder, long-sleeved blouse with puffy sleeves and a gray pleated miniskirt adorned with buttons, white ruffled socks, and black platform shoes. She accessorized with a black beret and a black backpack featuring a white plush charm. Her overall look echoes contemporary Japanese fashion, likely influenced by the idol group 𝗏𝗏𝗡, produced by 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫. Midoriya was shocked, not just by her appearance, which he found appealing, but also by seeing her here. Midoriya, oh hey 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨. What are you doing here? 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨, I could ask you the same thing. Midoriya, oh right. I was just enjoying the park's scenery. He lied to her, hoping she'd bought it. Luckily she did. 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨, anyway Midoriya, how have you been? Everyone was worried about you since the 𝐒𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨. Midoriya, they were. 𝐀𝐻𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨, yes, but you just disappeared. Everyone was looking at you, even the girls tried to contact you, but nothing came. So why? Midoriya, oh that was because my phone broke. He pulled out his phone and showed it to 𝐀𝐻𝐮𝐴, who saw that it was cracked. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, when did that happen? Midoriya, probably from either fighting the villains or fighting that thing at the 𝐒𝐮𝐽. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, well, obviously. She's pinching the brink of her nose. Midoriya, and I'm sorry for making you all worried. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, it's fine. Just let us know when you're okay before you get up and vanish again. Midoriya, okay. It got quiet as 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴 walked towards him, stopped before him, and asked, 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, mind if I sit here? Midoriya, not at all. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴 sat next to Midoriya on the bench, and for a while, they were silent, as neither of them said anything. They just looked around the park except for each other. They recalled what happened in the 𝐒𝐮𝐽, and both were struggling to speak to each other. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴 often became silent because she kept a distance from her classmates, resulting in limited interaction. While she engaged with them for schoolwork, it never involved casual conversation. When she yelled at him at 𝐒𝐮𝐽, she believed he was merely a coward. However, he bravely fought off a monstrous creature, emerged victorious, and had a story to share. Consequently, she felt unsure of how to respond to him. Midoriya remained concerned about having killed that creature while everyone observed him. He feared that she might consider him a freak due to his strength and regretted shouting at her, believing it was harsh. They remained in this position for a moment, and just as Midoriya was about to speak, 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴 interrupted him. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, I'm sorry. Midoriya, for what? He said, confused. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, for what I said on the boat. She said, looking at her hands. Midoriya, oh, he said, remembering what happened. He turned to her and reassured her, it's okay. I wouldn't blame you if I actually did that. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, but you were just following orders from our teachers to try to help us. I still shouldn't have said that to you. It was just plain rude of me. Midoriya, like I said, I forgave you. He smiled. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, but why? Midoriya, I'll admit, I don't know you all too well, but something tells me that you're not a bad person, just someone who was hurt. He smiled at her. As 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴 became shocked, Midoriya continued, turning toward the park. I won't ask what happened because it's not my business, so if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Then Midoriya turned towards 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, who was surprised by this. This was the first time someone had been willing to listen to her about her problems. She hesitated because she'd never told anyone about this, not even her parents knew. She took a deep breath and then decided on her answer. 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴, okay. I'll tell you. It all started back when I was a kid. Flashback 𝐀𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐴's narrator POV. My family is the second wealthiest in Japan, and the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐼 family is the first. These two have known each other for generations, even though the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐼 family is the nicest. My family acts nice, but the truth is, they have a deep hatred for the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐼 family. I never knew the reason for a long time until I found out. The 𝐻𝐼𝐻𝗧𝗏 family was loved and appreciated more than my own. The primary focus is that they get more business deals than they do. My folks always try to outdo them, but they fail each time. Sometimes, my folks collaborate with the 𝐻𝐼𝐻𝗧𝗏 family, but they mostly get business deals because people think they work with 𝐻𝐼𝐻𝗧𝗏 Industries. My father tried to show the world that his company was more capable than 𝐻𝐼𝐻𝗧𝗏 Industries, but that always failed. I didn't care about all that. Even as a child, I always found that life boring. I spent most of my childhood alone in my house because all my parents cared about was being more successful than the 𝐻𝐼𝐻𝗧𝗏 family. When they did want to spend time with me, it was to prepare for the company takeover in the future. The second thing I spent my childhood doing was being homeschooled most of the time, so I didn't have many friends. I spent all my free time reading books and loved to read. But one day, when I was in town to get more books, I found some comic books. They were from the Precork area. The comics were Batman and Wonder Woman. When I started reading them, I was instantly hooked. One was a billionaire with no powers but was still kick-butt due to some gadgets, and the other was a princess from a society of mortal warriors who were skilled fighters. I was more attached to Wonder Woman than Batman, but I still like him for thinking outside the box. They wouldn't allow it if my parents learned I was reading this. So, I hid these books somewhere they would never find them. While hiding them, I found some old magazines featuring a lady with a long, bright pink ponytail and thicker frontal bangs. Her hero costume was a dark, high-collared jumpsuit with leggings and navy blue highlights. She wore a blue scouter over her right eye and a large greenish-gray utility belt. Her name was the lovely Lady Nagant. She was a pro-hero affiliated with the Hero Public Safety Commission. I instantly fell in love with her, and as I read more about her, I became a bigger fan by the minute. I even found out that my family company had provided her. I learned that she was the youngest sniper in the world at 15, and by the time she was 20, she was the top female assassin. If you can get the reference, I'll give you a shout-out. She was so cool, and that's when it hit me. I wanted to be a hero just like her. I would read everything about her and even watch her interviews and appearances. But one day, when I was 8, my parents discovered my secret. Hideo, angry, 𝐀𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫, what is all this? Setsuko, angry, have you been keeping secrets from your family? 𝐻𝐾𝐮𝐻 child, nervous, but Hideo, angry, you're supposed to be studying to take over the family business. Don't fill your head with this useless trash. 𝐻𝐾𝐮𝐻 child, but Daddy Setsuko, angry, 𝐻𝐾𝐮𝐻, you're an upper-class lady, you should not be affiliated with these things. 𝐻𝐾𝐮𝐻 child, angry, well, maybe I don't want to be one. I shouted, shocking my parents as I ranted about everything I wanted to say. I continued, you two are never here, you only care about the stupid family business. It's all you ever talk about. When was the last time we did anything as a family that didn't involve your work? My parents didn't say anything for a while, and as my father was about to say something, I continued with what I was saying. But I learned that it would be the biggest mistake of my life. 𝐻𝐾𝐮𝐻 child, you don't even know what I want, and I don't want the family business. I hesitated for a bit, and then I said, what do I really want? I want to be a pro-hero, just like Lady Nagant. From that day, I learned a hard lesson. That I should keep some things to myself. My parents went berserk when I said that. They told me that they would never allow me to be a hero. They'd forbid me from becoming a hero. They threw out everything I had, even the notebook I made about Lady Nagant and how to become a hero. It shattered me. Since then, I haven't spoken to them. Then, they decided to enroll me in a boarding school so I could focus on my studies. For a while, it was normal, but then some students' quirks started to manifest. When my quirk manifested, I had this dual monster card with a cute monster on it, and brought it to life. They were real, and everyone praised me for my quirk because I could summon real monsters. Then I thought of my dream. Now, with my quirk, I can become one like Lady Nagant. Many students wanted to be my friends, but I was initially okay with it. However, I later discovered they only wanted to hang out with me because of my family's reputation. This angered me that people only wanted to get close to my family. Growing up, I became one of the most popular girls at my school. Most guys saw me only for my looks and started having perverted thoughts about me. That's when I had had enough. I started acting cold and distanced myself from everyone, especially the boys. I was at the top of my class by the time I graduated. I saw other students with their parents, and I was looking for mine. But instead, I found our butler with the family limo parked. Our butler was named Alfred Pennyworth, the mother effin' goat. Alfred was more like a parent to me than my actual parents. When my parents threw out my stuff, Alfred was friendly enough to recover and hide it well, so even my parents didn't know about it. I walked up to him and was happy to see him again. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, Alfred. I shouted as I ran towards him and hugged him. Alfred, hello, 𝐴𝐻𝗧𝗟𝗘. I'm so glad to see you again, he said, returning the hug. Later, they both let go of the hug. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, let me guess, they didn't bother. Alfred, I'm afraid not, 𝐴𝐻𝗧𝗟𝗘. I tried to persuade them, but it was to no avail. I'm apologetic. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, don't be, Alfred. I didn't expect them to come anyway. But I'm grateful for what you did. Alfred, you're quite welcome, 𝗀𝗧𝗟𝗘. Now, shall I take you home? He gestured to her as he opened the door for her. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, yes, Alfred. As Alfred drove me home, I told him I had been accepted to the recommendation exams at U. He was proud of me, but I told him not to tell my parents. Initially hesitant, he said he'd tell them I'd be studying abroad for a while, so they'd believe it would help improve their company. Flashback ends. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴. That's when my secret journey to a hero began. Midoriya was shocked to hear this. He couldn't believe she had gone through all that just because of her dream. He also can't think of any parents who could be like that, especially to their kids. He thought he had it rough, but 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 was on par with him. Midoriya, I'm sorry you went through all that. 𝐀𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, it's okay. I learned to cope with it. That's why I want to be a hero. I want to help people my way. She stared at Midoriya. Midoriya, I guess we're on the same boat. 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, Midoriya. It's because growing up I wasn't given much and I saw some people need help, but instead, they just get ignored. I will be a hero who will help anyone with a smile, he said with a determined face and smile. 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴 was mesmerized to the point that she raised her fist. 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, then let's work hard to become the best heroes together. Right, Midoriya? She held a fist for him as Midoriya stared a bit, then nodded and returned the gesture. Midoriya, you got it, 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴. They both fist bumped as they both smiled brightly at each other. Then Midoriya asked 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴 a question he had been wondering. Midoriya, hey 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, can I ask you something? 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, yeah, sure. What is it? Midoriya, how's 𝗁𝗁𝐴 been in your class? He asked, 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴 groaning at the thought of it. 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, irritated, oh my god, where do I even start? He's so full of himself. He's always talking about taking your class's scums off the spotlight. He was mad that you saved them and not him. Like grr. How did you deal with him? Midoriya, honestly, I have no idea. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, if it were me in your place, I would have lost my mind long ago. Midoriya, yeah, sometimes I think that. 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, by the way, everyone in Class B is not with him. Midoriya, they're not, he said, confused. 𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, nope, in fact, Kendo talked about combining the classes as one so no one would feel inferior. She said this, surprising Midoriya. Midoriya, whoa, that'll be crazy if I'm being honest. 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴, smile, don't worry, your class representatives, I think you can handle more kids. Midoriya, smile, thanks, 𝐴𝐻𝐮𝐬𝐴. So I take it 𝗁𝗁𝐴 did not take the news well, he said as 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 shook her head, giving Midoriya the answer he expected. Then continued, I guess he went like, mimicking 𝗁𝗁𝐴 what? This is outrageous. We should not be working with these class scums. We're supposed to be the superior class. As Midoriya was doing this, 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 couldn't help but laugh so hard that she clutched her stomach, thinking that this was the best impersonation of 𝗁𝗁𝐴 ever. She tried to hide her laugh, but Midoriya caught wind of it, as 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 said. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴, laughing but trying to stop Midoriya, don't look at me, she said as she covered her mouth and turned away from him. Midoriya, what's wrong? He said, smiling at this. 𝐻𝐮𝐬, laughing but trying to stop. Look at me. Midoriya, is it because of your laugh? 𝐻𝐮𝐬, laughing but trying to stop. Don't talk about it. I hate my laugh. Midoriya, why? Your laugh is adorable. 𝐻𝐮𝐬, laughing but trying to stop. No, it is not. Midoriya, it is. I thought you didn't have a sense of humor. He said as 𝐻𝐮𝐬 stopped laughing and looked at Midoriya. Then got an idea to get him. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬, no sense of humor. You think that's funny, you got to deal with mimicking Bakugo Deku. Why are you ahead of me? Why 𝐀𝐮𝐴𝐵 behind me? Because you are 𝐒𝐮𝐲. I'm supposed to be number one. Deku. She was impersonating, which made Midoriya laugh so hard. Midoriya, that sounds so like him. He was laughing so hard that 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 started laughing again as well. In the distance, a limo was parked on the curb of the park sidewalk. Inside, Alfred was watching the whole scene unfold. He was happy to see 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 smiling again. She hadn't smiled for a long time and was delighted that someone could make her smile again. After a while, they'd calmed down and couldn't help but smile at Midoriya. What she didn't know was that something was building up between them. They stayed silent for a while when 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 wanted to ask Midoriya what she wanted to know. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬, hey Midoriya, can I ask you something? She asked him, to which he nodded. She noticed that something was wrong with Midoriya. After what happened in the USJ, when classes A and B returned to you, she saw that he looked disturbed. But the way he looked, he saw his parents die in front of him, like in Batman. So she wanted to know if he was okay as she asked, are you okay? Midoriya, what do you mean? 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬, I mean, are you okay? Since the UJ, I noticed something bothering you. She said as Midoriya hesitated, looking down. She saw his hands shaking as they drew closer to each other. Then she looked at his face, which was nervous and scared. She continued, and don't try to hide it. I can tell something's bothering you. You listen to my problem, so let me listen to your problem. Please. Midoriya turned to 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 and saw that she was worried about him. He stayed silent for a while, and for a long time he never had to share his problems with anyone. He'd always dealt with his issues independently, and now that someone was willing to listen, it surprised him. He hesitated for a while until he finally decided. Midoriya, sigh okay, I'll tell you. The truth is, I think I'm a monster. He said in a low tone. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬, surprised what? What makes you think that? Midoriya, I mean, for what I did. To that 𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿. He said as 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿 remembered what had happened. He continued, I meant to make it go tired from overuse of his quirk. Or even knock it out. But instead, I killed it. WhatIf. I did that to a person. I don't. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 quickly understood what was going on. That moment traumatized him to the point that he thinks he'll do it again, but this time to a person. She knew that he didn't mean it, but he was beating himself up for it. Midoriya, that's the reason. I left. It's because I didn't know if I could look at any of you after what I did. I don't blame you if you think I'm a monster or a freak. He said that, starting to shake himself. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 was shocked to hear this as she put her hand on his, making him turn to her. 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬, Midoriya, you're not a monster or a freak. You had no choice with that, Nomu. You were trying to protect all of us. She said, staring at Midoriya, and a small smile formed. Midoriya was surprised, but before he could say anything, 𝐻𝐻𝐮𝐬 continued, everyone doesn't think that about you. We're just worried about you, but you left us worrying more. Midoriya, I didn't. He was saying as 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿 interrupted. 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿, I know. You didn't mean it. You were just scared of what we think about you. But to tell you the truth. She said this as she gently grabbed his head and turned it towards her while continuing to speak. Everyone would say the exact thing as I said to you as well. Plus, you were a hero to all of us, even the teachers. We thought you were cool. Midoriya was lost for words. As he stared at 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐿, she smiled at him for reassurance. He started thinking that maybe she was right, and he was just harsh on himself. He smiled back at her and said, "Midoriya, thanks. I needed that." He smiled at her as he was going to continue. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 hugged him out of nowhere, shocking him. "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, no problem. What are friends for?" She smiled as Midoriya returned the hug and smiled at this. They stayed like this for a while. Alfred saw this and was even more delighted that 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 was becoming the sweet little girl he once knew. After a while, 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 and Midoriya let go, and he thought about what she said, realized something, and then decided. "Midoriya, determined you're right, 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽. I'll not let this hold me down. I'll work on my quirk and stand beside my classmates from classes A and B. Not just their class representative, but as their friend," he said, standing up as 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 stood as well. "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, right, and we'll have each other's backs no matter what." Midoriya pulled his phone out to call everyone, but then remembered when he saw his phone again. It was broken, so now he can't call up his friends. Midoriya, oh, right, I forgot. Now, how am I going to contact my friends? He said as he thought of how, but before he could think any further, 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 grabbed his hand. "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, come with me, Midoriya." She grabbed his hand and took him to the limo, surprising him. "Midoriya, wait, 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, where are we going?" "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, I'm taking you to our limo so I can ask Alfred to take us to the mall." "Midoriya, wait, what for?" "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, so we can hang out and give you a present." She looked at him. Before Midoriya could say anything further, they reached the limo, and 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 said to Alfred, "Alfred, I want you to take us to the mall, please." "Alfred, as you wish, 𝐒𝐮𝐭𝐡𝐨𝐫." He replied as he entered the driver's seat and started the limo. 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 opened the passage seat and turned to Midoriya. "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, come on in, Midoriya." "Midoriya, are you sure?" "𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽, smile, of course I'm sure, and I want to know you more, and you can get to know me more." She pulled a hair behind her ear and continued, "And maybe I'll tell you about my quirk." "Midoriya, wait, you'll tell me about your quirk." He was surprised as 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐽 nodded in response. Midoriya was happy that he pulled his notebook out and said, "Oh, in that case, let's get going." Midoriya got in the limo, and they were off to the mall. When they got to the mall, Midoriya and 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽 walked around and visited some stores as they talked about things they liked. They had a great time together, and Midoriya enjoyed hanging out with 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽. 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽 also enjoyed Midoriya's company, as something was building up in her. After a while, they would get something to eat, but then 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽 saw a store she hoped to find. She turned to Midoriya. "𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽, hey Midoriya, can you wait out here for me please?" Midoriya, "Oh, sure, okay." 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽, smile, great, wait here. I'll be right back." She walked into the store and waited for Midoriya. Midoriya waited until he found a bench to sit on. He walked to the bench and sat down. He looked around and saw groups of friends hanging out together. He smiled, grateful to be like those groups, well, sort of. He was looking at his hands as he heard a voice. "Midoriya, is that you?" the person said, and Midoriya recognized that voice. He looked up and saw that and had called him. "Midoriya, wait, and..." He was surprised as he stood up. And, "Oh my God, Midoriya," she shouted as she ran up to him and hugged him tightly. She continued, "Midoriya, what happened to you? Everyone was worried about you." "Midoriya, I'm fine and I'm sorry for making you all worried. And I'm sorry that I left," he said, returning the hug to her. Later, they let go and continued. "And, it's fine, Midoriya, but what were you answering your phone? The girls and I were so worried about you." "Midoriya, right, it's because," he said, pulling out his broken phone to show her. "And, that does make sense." Midoriya nodded in response, as he was about to say something, but they heard a voice call him. "Hey Midoriya, I'm back," the voice said as Midoriya and turned to see 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽 walking towards them, who was surprised to see and, "𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽, oh hey, and I didn't know you were here." She smiled at the sight of Anne, and, "Axia, it's great to see you again." She smiled at 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽. Midoriya was surprised to see these two being so friendly with each other. He wondered when this happened. The two girls turned to Midoriya, remembering he was there, and 𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽 then held something out for him. "𝐀𝐮𝐽𝐽, Anyways, here you go, Midoriya. She held out a bag to him. He grabbed and examined it. Midoriya. What's this? 𝐀𝐮𝐬𝐴 giggled. It's a gift, silly. Go on, open it. Midoriya opened the bag, and what he pulled out surprised him. 𝐀𝐮𝐴 had given him a brand new phone that had just come out 2 days ago. Midoriya, you got me a new phone, 𝐀𝐮𝐴. 𝐀𝐮𝐴, well, yeah, think of it as a thank you for saving everyone at the 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘. Midoriya, Axia, I can't accept this. He said before 𝐀𝐮𝐴 could say anything, and beat her to it. And, you know, Midoriya, it's rude to refuse a gift, especially from a cute girl. She said, crossing her arms. 𝐀𝐮𝐴, please take it, Midoriya. It'll also mean if you do. Midoriya considered it and was unsure if he should accept it. He didn't feel comfortable getting gifts, especially if they were expensive. First, 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 got him a new phone, and now 𝐀𝐮𝐴 did. But he thought about what and said, and he didn't want to be rude about it, so he made a decision. Midoriya, alright, I'll accept it. He said, then bowing down to 𝐀𝐮𝐴, thank you for the gift, 𝐀𝐮𝐴. Axia was delighted, and was happy that Midoriya had accepted her gift. And, since you guys are here, I'm wondering if I can join you too. 𝐀𝐮𝐴, of course you can, and, she smiled. Midoriya, I don't see a problem there. As and joined them, the 3 hero-in-training hung out at the mall together. Midoriya told and what he had told 𝐀𝐮𝐴 at the park, which she understood. They went to get food, and explained to Midoriya that after the 𝗧𝗜𝗧𝗟𝗘 incident, she and Axia started talking and came to find out they had a lot in common. And mentioned that most students from both classes exchange numbers with each other, and 𝐀𝐮𝐴 realized that she forgot to mention it. So, after the girls helped Midoriya set up his phone, he got the contacts of most of the other classmates from both classes. Midoriya then got an idea. Midoriya, wait, I've got an idea. And /𝐀𝐮𝐴, what's up? Midoriya, how do you guys feel about a hangout this Saturday? And, I'm down for that. 𝐀𝐮𝐴, same here, but why though? Midoriya, I think we should do something as a class. He smiled. And, oh, I get it now. She smiled. 𝐀𝐮𝐴, let me call Momo and we could pull a few strings. She smiled and made a plan. Midoriya, good. Let's finish our hangout to set up the Class A and B hangout. He smiled, and the 2 girls smiled and nodded in agreement. Later, when Midoriya returned, he was feeling much better. Returning to the orphanage, he found his buddy, who was watching over the place for him.